and welcome to the Point in Progress podcast, episode 46, your one-stop shop for news, recommendations, and some spicy takes. Join 5 friends across 3 time zones and 2 countries every week as we discuss all the things we love and while we're still thinking critically about them. Hello, I am your host this week, Mario Rivera. Hello, everybody. How's everybody going? I'm gonna go one by one. I want to ask you some questions, okay? Fee, what does that taste like? What is that flavor? Is this a bubbly? What's going on? I'm trying to make you laugh and spew at the same time.
Spew? That's a terrible word.
Come on. This is a cranberry gin smash. So it does have an explanation.
Ooh, okay.
A balanced and refreshing blend of Georgian Bay gin, cranberry, and citrus with an herbaceous finish, lightly carbonated and not too sweet. Gin beverage, 5% alcohol.
Got it. So it's
Yeah,
like...
I need you to tell me the ingredients of this. No, just kidding.
Okay, let's go over.
Here we go.
Okay.
There's gin,
Carbonated water, gin, sugar, citric acid, natural flavors, sodium benzoate, and potassium sorbate.
Okay.
Sounds fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like
Yeah,
science.
It tastes like a gin smash.
Fantastic.
Who was the creator of the? No, just kidding. Okay.
Okay.
Does it taste
Georgian
like
Bay
science?
Gin is the creator of this drink, or at least like specifically this can.
Well,
He created this can. This is from his personal collection.
the person asking all the right questions. Oh, what? We good?
a gin smash was invented in 2008 in Hamburg, Germany, by a bartender with a name that I cannot pronounce.
That's pretty.
All right.
That's pretty recent.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
It's
Thank
pretty
you.
tasty
Thank
though.
you,
Would highly
Google.
recommend. I like the blue one a little bit more than the red one, but this is still really good.
Yeah. Well, I like that there's this whole trend of obviously like the White Claws, but I didn't know that there was a gin version of that, so that's kind of cool. I'm into it.
Yeah, it's better than White Claw.
No, it sounds
Was
like
I having
it
a
does sound
discussion-
like it's
was I
better than White Claw.
Who was I having a discussion with White Claws recently?
Honestly, anything's better than White Claw. Let's be real here.
Okay, it was with Kate, and she was talking about she went to a place that had White Claws for $16
What?
per White
Jesus
Claw.
Christ.
Imagine
I will
being,
say, White
imagine being the
Claws
person
are
pla-
a great mixer.
imagine
They're a
being the
good
person
mixer.
If
paying
you're putting it
$16
in
for a White
something,
Claw.
it's great.
Yeah.
But
If you need to
I-
get
you can get
boozed.
White Claws at 7-Eleven
Buy
for like
actual
$3.
booze at
Here's
that
the thing:
point.
at that
Yeah.
point, you may as well just get a bubbly, get some flavored vodka, mix it together, and
But
we'll
the thing is, like, but see, with those $16, like, you're like, when I go golfing and we need to get some more drinks because we're all out of drinks now, you have to get some White Claws there, and they're like
Buy a
$8 a
gallon
pop.
of Hennessy.
But the thing is,
ridiculous.
you're not gonna go buy liquor while you're middle of a golf course, right? You're
yeah,
like,
why not take the golf
Yeah.
cart?
Change
Just
the status quo. Why
Yeah.
you gotta go with the flow? Be different.
Speaking
I
of,
won't be.
Bring
I
hard
won't be-
liquor to the golf.
Guys,
to the
I won't
golf
be joining the
course.
podcast. I won't be joining the podcast for 3 to 5 years because I'm gonna be in fucking jail.
Would you go to jail if you just brought like a bottle of Hennessy to the golf course?
No, we brought like we brought
No, I
like
think
50 or
he's
60
referring
beers.
to the fact that he's going to be like charged with
drinking and driving.
drinking and driving.
drinking
by
and
a
driving and
Oh, yeah,
stealing a
probably.
golf cart to go.
You
to
might
the
hit
liquor
somebody with a
store.
caddy or something like that.
I've actually flipped a golf course or golf cart before.
You flipped an entire
Harv.
golf
Harv.
court.
I'm just gonna cut through. How are you doing? How are you doing, Harv? Tell me about these stories of flipping golf carts.
Oh, we were very drunk at the time, and we were. I think it because like it's weird because this golf course has like ups and like hills ups like it has hills up that go up and down, and we were going down as hills are, and we were going down, and I didn't anticipate the turn at the end of the hill,
Oh, okay.
and I saw it too late, and then I turned. My buddy is hanging on the back of it. Like a dumbass, and then when I turn, he flies off the golf cart into like a ditch, and I'm like in the golf cart just like flipping with it. It's
Harv,
good times. It's good
that
times.
sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's good times.
How old were you and how drunk were you?
Oh man, this was like this was when
It's like last.
I want to say I
Tuesday.
was like 26 at the time. It was
Okay.
about like eight years ago
So
or something
too
like that.
old to be pulling shenanigans.
Yeah, and I think we were like on like the sixth. Like if it was on like the second hole, that wouldn't be too bad. I think we were on like the seventh or eighth hole at the time. So like we were deep. We were deep.
You're deep into it. Well, thank you for telling me that. Sly, how you been?
I'm doing all right. It's been an interesting week, to say the least.
Yeah, how so?
And I'll save it for when we get into what we've been playing. But yeah, there's been some shenanigans, is all I'll say.
Okay.
Okay.
And Frank, how you been?
Pretty good, pretty good. I started a new job. Been doing that pretty good. I like it. I like the people there, and I'm happy. Except for one guy, he's kind of a prick.
Yeah, that fucking asshole.
Ugh.
God, we gotta talk about HR to him about him.
Yeah.
I will say that Frank, the way you said that, that is the way I describe how I felt when I started too. Honestly,
Well,
it
It feels pretty good. I don't regret getting up to go to work.
No,
Honestly,
I look forward to it sometimes. Sometimes,
Yeah.
you know, when I don't want to
Damn.
go. No, honestly, it's kind of.
You want to
An
get
awesome
me a
feeling.
job while you're at it?
It's possible. Anything's possible. Just sign in the Verizon, find out what happens.
There you go.
But no, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, of course, everyone, welcome. This is, of course, the Point in Progress podcast, where we get to talk about all the fun things. And I'm very excited because it's been a while. So we're going to talk about some of the awesome things I've been watching. And before we do that, though, we usually do housekeeping for the checkpoint. The only thing I have here is, what is this week? You know, I don't. All right.
A vibe?
Yeah.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
I feel that.
By the way,
I have a real housekeeping.
yeah, what's real housekeeping of Beverly Hills?
We have a TikTok blowing up.
Yes, I was actually going to bring that just up. So remember we said we were going to do more TikToks and then we didn't? We're going to be doing that again. I decided that I was going to use my cut of us being awesome and being able to do Amazon stuff that was cool to just help get a friend over. So Shotgun McPain is helping us take over that channel, so that way I have someone that could do it. That is us, because we are clearly busy. So Shotgun McPain cut that video together. It is really funny. I forgot how funny that conversation was just by itself. And the way he edited little funny things into it was even better. And we're sitting at over 2,000 views on that one. So thank you so much. That was a lot of fun. We have to throw that on YouTube. I don't think I have it on YouTube yet. So, But otherwise, fantastic. So yes, follow us at TikTok over there at Point in Progress. So let's actually get started and talk about what we've been playing. And Fee, apparently you've been streaming this a couple times a week, and I was asleep the entire time and did not know. Frank had to tell me you streamed this several times.
Yeah. He tells me, he's like, has Fee even streamed Chinatown Detective Agency? I'm like, yeah, twice.
Yeah. I streamed it twice.
Good like 8-hour streams too, actually, or like 5-hour streams.
They were long. They were like 4 hours each.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I personally haven't been able to hop back into it. But it's a really fun game. I've been hello Nerdaday in chat. Yeah, it is a game that I've been waiting for since E3 last year, and so I was really excited to actually be able to jump in. We even had the guy who actually did the artwork hop in and hang
That's
out with us for a
cool.
while. So he
Nice.
was hanging out talking to us and telling us about like the game and like just graphically how he like set up certain things. He was super super nice. Ricardo Jukem, I'm gonna try to I apologize, Ricardo, if you ever listen to this and you're like, wow, this girl butchered my last name. I'm so sorry. But yeah, it's by General Interactive Co. and it's a really fun point and click adventure, kind of detective game where you are playing as a detective who's just starting off in her own agency in Chinatown in Shanghai. In Singapore, my apologies. And so you're just trying to like figure out specific like things that are going on. There's 3 different groups that you can assist with. One is the more like you shoot to kill kind of group, where you might be dealing with some like very shady like 0.1% of like rich people with an underground agency, which is actually kind of giving me the same vibe as a specific show that I'm about to talk about in just a few minutes here. And then there's the like son who got all these like items and artifacts from his father, who is kind of like a shady religious figure. And he just has a bunch of like riches that he just wants to give back, but his sister's like really like salty about it. And then obviously there's the corrupt government that's just like, hey, we're gonna make money off of water, and then having different like water types or like subscriptions that you can sign up for, but some of them might have lead in it. Who knows? Might have a little arsenic, just a little bit of spice. So it's a lot of fun.
Like White Claws.
Yeah, like White Claws. But no, I think I've personally been having a lot of fun. I do appreciate the fact that you have to kind of like go out of your way to find information. A lot of it is you have to go into Google and actually search up information, and there's actually like a web button on the game, and it actually redirects you to your main browser, like your default browser. And then it says like search up this info, like where did this stamp come from? Where did this statue come from? So it's quite entertaining. I have like a book here that I have like a bunch of information, and I can show Mario that I've been playing this game because I just have pages worth of like information.
That's awesome.
So I need to hop back into it. I plan on hopping back into it this week. I did take a little bit of a hiatus though, that longer than I wanted to. So yeah, I also saw that Sly's been playing it as well. What did you think of it, Sly?
Yeah, this also has been on my wish list for ages, it seems like. And so I was super excited. I bought it. I started playing, and I got to where you have to like choose which group you're going to focus on, right?
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I'll take a little break. And then chaos happened, and I'll get to that later. But what I played so far is just so fun. It's everything I wanted from this game. It's, interesting, and like you have to, if you're the kind of person who goes on Wikipedia binges where you like go to a page and like click on a new page and like get down in rabbit holes, you will love this game. It's just so fun, and the fact that all of the clues are like based in the real world is such an interesting twist, and it's just such a blast. I'm really enjoying what I've played so far.
I love the connectivity of that because the other game that reminds me of, which is a really awesome game, which is Emily is Away, where there are links within the game that when you click on it actually links out to real world things and real world YouTube links and other stuff like that I think is really cool. So the fact that it lets you go to your browser to try and search, I think that's actually kind of awesome.
Yeah, a lot of point and clicks are like, don't use Google, or they'll be like, it's frowned upon that you go onto like a help page. But like this, there's no help pages. There is literally like, you have to use Google. You have to search like, okay, stamps from 1920s Greece. Like, what the fuck? And then you have to like find where that specific stamp would be from that particular time period, because it may in one of the cases it was, oh god, I forget the name of it. It was specifically in a like an empire that's no longer existent. So you had to like
the
find
Ottoman
the name.
Empire.
Yeah, the Ottoman Empire. So you had to find the actual like name of the city that it originally was coming from, which we found out it wasn't actually, like, there was a Greek stamp, but the one that we were looking for was Beirut. So I apologize for people who are playing or haven't played yet. That's a little bit of a spoiler. So you're welcome, because that took us like probably
Harv
an
is
hour.
fucking pissed. You just killed Harv. Just absolutely.
I know.
Can't play this game anymore. I'm done.
No.
Harv, calm down.
You want to know how I figured that out, by the way, guys? I figured out how the Beirut thing because I spelled Beirut wrong.
Yeah.
Did you spell it B-A-E?
I think I spelled it B-E-I root.
He spelled it B-A-B-E-R-U-T-H, Babe Ruth.
Yeah, no.
That was a dad joke. There you go. That's for you.
That was absolutely the worst joke I've ever heard.
I got one.
No,
That's all I needed.
There was like a spelling in there, right? Like there was like on the stamp it had like R-E-O-U-T. So I spelled it like B-E-I.
Like French spelling or something.
No, it was the original spelling of it like back in the Ottoman Empire. So like I typed in like B-E-I-R-O-U-T, thinking that's how you spell Beirut. Yeah. And then it was just like, I went to the Wikipedia page and it was just like right there, like the original spelling. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Fun times.
Where is this available right now? Is it available on Switch? Any other platforms?
Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass.
Game
That's
Pass.
awesome.
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Is it also on Stadia, or is that something else?
It is not on Stadia.
What is it? I thought that was something on. Oh, it's Adam Wolf.
There is Adam Wolf. There's also the Dark Detective or something.
That's what I was seeing. Yes.
Yeah, which is also another pixel
Gotcha.
game, but yeah,
But different series entirely, right?
different series entirely.
Got it. Because I got Stadia for the month.
Yes, you
I
did.
I got an email and I just logged in as many games as I can, so I saw that on there. I thought that was the same thing, but that's cool. So it's on Game Pass. Then I might take a look at it. I believe it's on PC Game Pass. And then is it a console game as well, or is it just strictly? I would think it'd be more
It's on
PC,
Switch.
Right? Oh, it is on the
Switch.
Switch. Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, definitely want to check that out. And then what else have you been watching? I see you got the Blacklist. Actually, before we joined in, I saw you guys watching it in the stream. So what's going on with that? I know you're a huge Spader fan.
Yes, I am.
I was gonna say, I was gonna be like, where are you going with this one? what fan is she?
So this was actually a recommendation from Lucas for a very long time, and he's just like, you need to watch a show. You need to watch a show. And I'm like, whatever. And he's just like, you like James Spader? And I'm like, I know I do, because he's Robert California. He's the motherfucking Lizard King. And I'm like, chef's kiss. James Spader is like phenomenal in The Office. And I was just like, okay, I'll start watching it. And I started watching it the other day. I'm now on season 3.
Jesus.
Each season has about 22 episodes. They're all an hour long.
Like a supernatural season.
And I am,
and it's still going apparently.
it's still going.
Wow.
It's still going. I am obsessed with this show. James Spader's character of Reddington is absolutely phenomenal. Raymond Reddington. He is the very first scene you see him. He walks into a government agency and gives them his passport, and he starts taking off his he puts down his briefcase. He puts down his hat. He's taking off his jacket, and when they scan his passport, it says arrest on site, because he is one of the top 10 essentially he's on the top 10 list.
He's most wanted.
He's on the most wanted list. And so then he just puts his hands up and he's just like, I am only going to be talking to a specific Harold Hooper from the FBI, and I'm only talking to him. And then he's just like, I'm only going to talk to the specific essentially profiler named Elizabeth Keene, and she's my only point of contact, and I'm going to give you the specific name of a villain or this other most wanted person. And then you find out that he has this thing called the Blacklist, which is just a bunch of the most essentially the top 150 most wanted criminals in the United States. And he's just like, here's my list. But I don't actually have a written list. It's all in my head. So the entire series is him, Elizabeth Keene, who I can take or leave sometimes, and then the specific essentially a black ops department that they have. And I'm obsessed with the show. It is very good. James Spader is phenomenal in his role, because he's just Reddington. I'm gonna be honest, it's really nice to see his character. He does not care what line, which specific if you're and I'm not trying, I'm usually not the one to specifically look out for this, but I'm noticing people of color, people with disabilities, no one is out of the realm of who he'll hire. He's just person from a DMV, you're fantastic. You have just a bunch of people that on his list that you're just wait a second, why is he apparently one of the best money laundering people on the East Coast is a single mother in suburbia. And she has this entire organization coming out of her garage and stuff like that. And it's just really cool. The acting is really good. Elizabeth Keene once again. Whew! I have thoughts. I'm just not a huge fan of her. But no, it's really interesting to kind of see stuff and today I was just my mind was blown, and I had this conversation with Harv. I just want to say, I've watched a lot of criminal and political shows previously, but the premise of the fact that if you are a dual citizen and you commit a horrendous crime, killing, let's say, a top general in the United States or something like that. But then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna seek I'm gonna seek asylum in another country. So you just go to the embassy of the other country that you have like citizenship with, and you're like, I'm here and I'm seeking asylum. That no, the US government can't touch you. Like it's
Mhm.
just I know it's a real thing, but like
Yeah.
it's just mind-boggling
What's
to me.
what was his name? Snowden did that in a way. He
Yeah.
went to a
Yeah.
different country. and then-
Whistleblower, yeah.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
granted. that
Again,
makes
it's the
sense.
same thing. This only applies if your countries are in bad standing. Like if you go,
Yes.
like Snowden
Yeah.
is the same way. He went to Russia because he knew in Russia he wouldn't get extradited at all.
Yeah.
Nerd Day in
Yeah.
the chat asks, "Isn't Ashley Johnson in it?" I believe that's the show with the lady with the tattoos. I'm not sure what the name of that show is. I always get it confused with the Blacklist, but it's Jamie King is not Jamie King. I'm sorry, Jamie Alexander. She was in Thor. She has like all these tattoos of like secrets or something like that. That's the show that she's on, not this one.
Oh no, this isn't that one.
No.
This one
Mhm.
is yeah, it's about Raymond Reddington.
Yes.
And
Now-
yes.
Fee,
Yes.
you're 3 seasons in, right?
Correct. Yes.
Now, I've always thank you, nerd. I've always seen the show, like the trailers for it. I was like, I already know what the twist is, and it's because it's something I feel like I can call right off the bat.
Yeah.
Is it answered by season 3? Now, I'm not saying what the twist, what I immediately expected what the twist is, because he only wants to talk to 2 specific people,
He's only wanting to talk. He only wants to talk to Elizabeth Keene.
right?
He'll talk to Cooper sometimes, but it is only Elizabeth Keene that he
And
wants
that's
to
the
talk to.
that's the spoiler I'm talking about. Or I'm like, I wonder. Yeah, I'm like,
So there is
There's, like,
slightly
some
like an
ambiguity.
explanation. This is
Yeah.
like without a spoiler, it does kind of explain what's going on there, but at the same time, it's not explained.
got it. Yeah.
There's just a lot of things. I'm gonna be honest, there are twists in the show that I'm like, wait a second, I didn't even expect. And usually I'm pretty good at like pointing out like, oh, this is what's gonna happen here.
Yeah.
Like there's some times where I'm just like, wait a second, I have to like walk around my apartment because I'm like, I did not expect this to happen. Like I feel like
You
so
have to contemplate
stupid.
afterwards.
I have to contemplate because I'm like, I was not expecting this particular twist to happen.
Sure.
Because obviously there's a lot of things going on, and there are specific, like, I'm not going to spoil it for people who haven't watched it before,
Mhm.
but there's just like a lot of shady shit happening,
Yeah.
which is like, yeah,
I guess I'll talk to you after the show because I do want to be like, is this what I think it is? And then
Yeah.
you just tell me. But
yeah, I'm happy to talk about it. Yeah, but no,
totally.
I would highly recommend it. If you like, honestly, for people who are really like a huge fan of like Criminal Minds, I know I was a fan of Criminal Minds when I was in high school, and just kind of seeing, like, I know that this sounds kind of silly, but I've always been a fan of like the villain of the week type of show, and that's kind of what the first season played out as. Because there was people like the Alchemist, for example. The Alchemist was able to change someone's face in actual blood type and like actual like DNA in specific ways. So there was like the Alchemist, and then there is the most disgusting episode, the Stew Maker. It is what you think it is. It's the Stew Maker. It is a person who can make people disappear. I'm not going to go into further details there. But just seeing like these types of profiles, because it's so interesting. Like, I know that this is a TV show, but at the same time, it's just like a lot of the times when they get these ideas, they base them off of like actual killers
crimes.
or like real, like they get like inspiration off of stuff like that. And whoo, I don't know, I'm a huge true crime fan, so it's definitely,
You know what?
recommended.
I think Breaking Bad broke me when it came to television in terms of like watching a season. Like I don't think I could commit to 22 episodes anymore.
Yeah,
But
I can't do that.
But I watched like Bones, right? I watched that for
Yes.
hours. I watched, Supernatural's another one of those shows where you just kind of like go through. I guess the last like major shows I watched like that was like CW and stuff like that. But ever since then, it's just sort of like I could not get back into a procedural because it has so many like ongoing episodes. I don't know how my mom gets into the fire shows, but she does.
I would not
Sly
watch
as
a
well.
show. Yeah. I would not watch a show if James Spader wasn't in it. Like,
Yeah,
that
that
is
makes
literally
sense.
the key component. Because I'm going to be honest, an older man that has confidence, like, by all means, like, that man is like spewing confidence every single fucking episode, and it is insane.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, goes in, and then he's just like, oh yeah, you know what, like, give me the information, that's fantastic, you remember that one time, and then he shoots him and walks out, and you're like, what the fuck just happened here? Like,
No,
I get it,
Spader's awesome.
it's shock and awe.
Especially
but yeah, no, the show was made for
Age of
him.
Ultron.
Yeah, he's literally the reason why the show exists. Like, the character of, like, Reddington was like, this was the role that was supposed to be his. Like, it was created in mind specifically to have him as that role. And you can see that, and you can see the passion that he has in the show, because there was an interview where he was talking about the fact that he was concerned about if he was able to get a role when he became older.
Mhm.
And you know what?
He's got a good voice. That's one of the big
Oh
things.
my
too.
god,
He's got
just
a really
everything.
good voice.
And
Yeah.
like, you sit there and you're like, this, like, you don't see like Spader, you see specifically like Reddington. It's not
Yeah.
like, oh, this is a character, like an actor playing a character. Like, it feels like you're watching the specific like person living out like his life.
There's a few Spader movies. I don't know if you've seen over his career.
No,
But there is, so he was the villain. He's been a villain in a lot of movies because he just has that like bravado.
of course.
But he was the bad guy in Pretty in Pink. He was
I've heard that.
Yeah, he's the bad boy in Pretty in Pink, which is a great film in my opinion. He's also, I guess, a main character in the movie Less Than Zero, which I do want to watch very much. But I primarily know him from oh my god, I just had it and it just immediately like fell out of my head. It'll come to me, but yeah, obviously in the later years he's gotten roles like The Age of Ultron. He's gotten The Office, of course, and then this was sort of like his big like, hey, I'm back, which is really cool.
Also, side note, fuck Tom Keen. For people who've watched it, I fucking hate that character. I wish he would go away. That is my thoughts. Yeah, I get really irritated whenever I have to talk about Tom Keen. It doesn't make any sense for people who haven't watched the show, but if you watch the show, you know why. Even like when Harv watches, like, I just put it on, I just share the screen with, and Harv like watches every so often, and I'm like, fuck this guy. I'm really sick of this shit. Why is your face on the screen? And I'm like, I'm so done with this character. And then he just keeps on coming back, and I'm like,
Got it. I remember the movie. He's in a movie called Moon, starring Jack Nicholson and oh my god, doesn't matter. So he plays the bad guy in that, and he's so good. It's a werewolf movie. It's really good. It's really, really good. Jack Nicholson. Speaking of werewolves, that was not me trying to tie him, but it just so happened to work out. Sly, tell me about your teen wolf drama. What's going on?
Oh my god. So I'm blaming this on JJ, of course. First guest of MC University, friend of the show, JJ, sent me a couple fanfics for me to read, which was great. I love it. I love when people send me fics, and I love reading them. JJ sent me a Teen Wolf fanfic that is almost 600,000 words long.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, it's a series. There's 5 fics within one series, but the entire series is nearly 600,000.
Okay.
Why?
Anyways, it was really good, but it took over my entire life. And so, like, that's all I've been doing all week was reading this goddamn fanfic. And then I finished it, and I said to myself, you know, I never really finished Teen Wolf. Maybe I should watch it.
Oh,
Let me tell you, that was a mistake. It was a mistake. But I'm sticking with it. I'm at the beginning of season 3. I started a couple days ago. It's not great.
Okay.
Okay, so the first season is rough. And it's like the typical like early 2010s teenage high school drama, whatever. But I've read a couple Teen Wolf fanfics recently, and so like I thought I had a vibe on the characters, and the characters in fandom are much better than the characters in the actual show. And so it's a slog to get through, and I'm like, wow, Derek's kind of a piece of shit.
Got it.
And so It's something. I've only seen through season 3. I don't remember any of it. Like, I watched it in high school. I like binged through it in a couple weeks during a summer or something, and I remembered absolutely zero things about it. To the point where I like forgot who the main character of the show was. Like, I knew Scott existed in the universe, like he was a character. I didn't realize he was the main character.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, so I'm just about to start season 3, which is when it kind of like picks up. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Teen Wolf just ruined my life, and I blame JJ.
That's hilarious. Before we continue to the next thing that you're doing, I just wanted to show this real quick, which of course is this is what Jack Nicholson looks like in that movie. Frank, tell me he doesn't look like Wolverine in some aspects of this.
Maybe a little bit. It looks like a rat.
Yeah, look at this. Yeah,
That is no.
he looks like a rat.
Look like a rat.
That's a choice. It's a fun movie. James Spader's also in it. He looks like weird as a werewolf. And Sly, what is so? Was this that was part of it right here, or is this something else?
Yeah, I've also been playing Dear Reader, which is an Apple Arcade game that I just happened upon, and it's like a word puzzle game but with classical literature.
Okay.
And so I'm currently playing through Pride and Prejudice, obviously, because I'm a huge Austen fan, right? And I didn't realize how much of that book I had memorized. And the fact that like I immediately know the quotes is a little scary. I think I've read Pride and Prejudice one too many times. But it's really fun. There's a couple different like types of puzzles. There'll be like misspelled words or missing words and you have to fill them in, or there'll be like lines that are like swapped and you have to put them in the correct order.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just like a mindless word puzzle game of classic literature.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's been fun.
It's funny when you say that, like that you have memorized something like Jane Austen to the T. Have you been seeing these TikToks where people are like, can you recite a movie scene without the sound?
Mm-hmm.
And someone did the scene in Dumb and Dumber where he sells all their stuff to a blind kid. He sells like the dead bird. And I'm like, why do I know this scene by verbatim? This is awful. like I just know every sound, every like pretty bird. Like I got all the terrible things. So yeah, that's my example of your Jane Austen thing. It's like I can recite Dumb and Dumber. Lovely.
Love that for you.
Love that about myself. Speaking about Dumb and Dumber, Harv, tell me about Stranger in Paradise.
Strangers of Paradise is an interesting game. It is if you are not a Final Fantasy fan, you're not going to get the enjoyment out of this game. I will say that 100% with confidence.
Yeah. Because
there is so much Final Fantasy littered throughout this game, because it goes to every Final Fantasy game. And has every level is an homage to a Final Fantasy game. So like to Final Fantasy 14.
Is there a story reason for that?
There is a story reason why they do it. Yes. Okay. They don't like go to the actual world. They go to a facility that is like kind of mimicking what happened in that world, or what that world is kind of like.
Okay. But they're present up. They know of those worlds.
Yes, they know of those worlds. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So how it works? Like we've all seen the videos, right? We've all seen the dialogue for these games, and we're just like, what the fuck?
Bullshit.
Why? Like, yeah, bullshit. One of the boss fights, he's just like, a person's like, I am. She's like, I am Tiamat. I am this. It's like, and then all of a sudden, my character goes, or Jack goes in. He's like, I don't give a fuck who you are, and just like, punches it in the face.
Mollywops her.
Okay, all right, okay.
That sold me on the game right there. That right there sold me on that game.
But so it is based in Final Fantasy 1. It is based in Cornelia, right? It is considered a prequel to Final Fantasy 1. So it's the stuff that happens beforehand. Combat is fucking amazing. It's really, really fun. The job system is great. It is fun. It's got very versatile job system. It's multiplayer as well. So if you ever want to play with friends, it's multiplayer. So it's
Crossplay?
up to 3 people. It's only on PlayStation and PC. So I don't think it is.
Fair enough.
Because it's on PlayStation, it's not going to be crossplay. Crossplay.
Yeah, PlayStation don't play that shit.
No, they don't play that shit. But by the time you get about halfway through the game, the story gets so interesting. You're like, I need to see the end of the story now. Like, I need to see where this goes.
That's what I mean.
Because dialogue gets better. The actual character progression through all the characters gets better.
Yeah.
And where they actually lead the story, the ending is worth it. 100% worth it.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing as well. I told my friend Scott White, I was like, Scott, just tell me the ending. I don't care. Just tell me. And he told me, and I was like, no way.
Yeah, I got goosebumps at the end of it because Final Fantasy 1 I recently played through again, and how they were talking about what they were going to do and stuff like that. I was like, this is awesome. And then I love the ending scene so much. I don't know who's gonna play it. I guess Frank's the only person that's actually gonna play it here.
I'm interested in this game. I can give a shit less about the Final Fantasy part. I just want to play a nice hack and slash where I can just fuck with the combat for a little bit.
So do you care about story then? At all?
I mean,
we shouldn't spoil
if I'm
it
not
for anybody else though. Like anyone
I'm not really
listening
going to
to this.
understand it, I don't really care, but I wouldn't really spoil it for the audience.
Yeah,
we'll
talk about it afterwards. But yeah,
I'm waiting for I'm not going to pay $60 for this game. I'm probably just going to wait.
This game is not worth the $60. But again, but again, this game is a Final Fantasy like love letter. So if you like Final Fantasy games, you're gonna get a lot of these references. And if you played old Final Fantasy games, like we went to the Final Fantasy X world, and I started to get PTSD because I remember fighting Seymour on this very island.
That's cool.
And I was on that boss for like 3 hours trying to beat that boss. But like obviously there's no like actual bosses or characters from those games at all. Right? This is just like locations and like tangential shit that you see around. Yeah. That's really it. Which I'm kind of disappointed by. I wish I could like, you go to the Final Fantasy 7 one, you can see like the red scorpion would be kind of cool. That kind of type thing. But there's a reason why they don't do that, because they're not actually in that world. They're still in Final Fantasy 1 world. They're just visiting these other facilities.
I find that fascinating because, every Final Fantasy, I guess, exists in its own world, but they're all connected by similar things. But the fact that it's all within the first game is sort of kind of cool. How it kind of ties it together in some weird fashion.
In a way, yeah, but the thing is, like, people in the Final Fantasy 1 world in Cornelia don't know these worlds exist.
But this corporation, again, I won't question much. I'll just stop there.
Yeah,
you already said you already said too much.
I'm already like, go ahead and explain to me.
I know there's a corporation that is doing all this and stuff like that. Appreciate it.
This is Final Fantasy. I should stop right ahead. Stop.
Yeah, it's a good game. The ending scene is worth it, 100%. The song they use at the end is fucking worth it, and I love the way the scene kind of opens up, because it's perfect for a Final Fantasy fan who has played Final Fantasy 1.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I recommend it to Final Fantasy people if people are gonna like Final Fantasy. But yeah, it is not worth the $60. I would probably wait until it's about $40.
If it's on Black Friday, that'd be something that I might pick up. Honestly,
it's gonna be on Game Pass at some point.
It might be on Game Pass, or
it's a Team Ninja game, so I don't think it's gonna be on Xbox.
PlayStation. That's right. Don't forget, we have the new PlayStation thing. Maybe it'll be on there.
It'll be on PlayStation Plus at some point.
So if that's the case, cool. Then I don't have to worry about that.
Because I don't think any Team Ninja game is actually on
the
Xbox.
Original. Yeah,
Neo.
Original.
Is Neo on?
Neo is not. Neo is not.
Were they like, you're not going to put Dead or Alive on Xbox anymore? Because isn't that originally?
No, like that, I mean, I guess this kind of style game, like after Neo, they never
Ninja
put it on
Gaiden?
Xbox.
They're like, nah.
Yeah, I guess after Ninja Gaiden, they never went back on Xbox.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. I'm happy for you that you've had some enjoyment of it, because I know.
I wish I could talk to people about like the ending of.
I want to talk to you about the ending, because we hadn't had that conversation. It's
I had
weird.
to rewatch it again because I got goosebumps the first time I rewatched it. I was like,
It's fucking
this
weird.
is so fucking good, dude. This is so fucking good.
Yeah, it's awesome when you know what it is, but that's awesome. So so since it looks like me, Frank, and you have all been keeping up with MoonKnight, let's go ahead and bring that up right now. Fee, have you been watching yet or no? Okay, eventually we'll do a binge.
We're not gonna put any spoilers in this. So anybody who hasn't seen MoonKnight is waiting for the show to finish before watching all the episodes, don't worry. We're gonna talk about like basic level things, nothing about the plot or anything like that.
Yeah, if anything.
I've seen the first 2 episodes. I gotta watch the third one
Tonight, right?
tonight or tomorrow because we're doing a show about it tomorrow.
That's right.
So I gotta watch it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So Harv, you have now seen the first 3 episodes, I assume.
Yep.
What is your first thoughts on the series thus far, halfway through the show?
Oscar Isaac is fucking amazing actor.
Yeah,
I will say that. I will say that this is pretty much. I feel like it's almost his coming out party because like of how good he plays the characters. Yeah, in the show.
Yeah.
But the show itself is kind of it's neat. It's a cool idea. It's a really, really cool idea. But I think story beats wise, they're not nailing it as much as I hope they would have. And Ethan Hawke they got a great villain as well as Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke is great.
Ethan Hawke, who looks like Kevin Bacon for some reason in the show.
For some reason he looks like Kevin Bacon. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought that. I'm glad you thought that.
Here, I'm gonna pull the meme.
When I first saw him, I was like, "Is that Kevin Bacon?" They're like, "Oh no, that's Ethan Hawke," and I'm like, "Why is it like Kevin Bacon for?"
Yeah. Here, I'm gonna put it in the control room.
they added really cool aspects to it, but I feel like I think the CG is terrible in this show, like just horrendous.
There's some issues.
And 2, the plot itself, I feel like either we're working at like a breakneck speed or they just slow everything down to a point like it's very inconsistent in the show. I feel like it's very inconsistent. And this latest episode kind of put that for me. I really like the second episode. I think the second episode is awesome. But I think the first and third are kind of weak.
He just looks like old Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, from Tremors, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I agree with you that the pacing is not what I would want from the show necessarily. And I'm really disappointed because we've already seen Marvel tackle non-linear storytelling in Eternals and done very well. And I think this project would benefit so much from non-linear storytelling. If they were trying 100%. To tell this story in a non-linear way, you would get less relying on like sleep as the metaphor for like the disassociation. And I think the pacing would be better and it would just tell a way more compelling story. But the fact that they're so honed in on like trying to tell a linear experience really detracted from what I've seen so far.
Yeah. I honestly think at least my problem with the show is that Oscar Isaac's insanely good actor. I think he's really good at what he's doing with the show. I think hiring someone of his caliber was kind of a detriment to the character itself, mainly just because we're having the Halo problem right now. Right, where it's like because we have to have somebody take off their helmet or take off their mask because they're a high not in the sense of Halo, but at least with this show, he's a high budget dude. We're gonna see his face more than actual MoonKnight, and I was hoping that it would be the other way around. I think he needs to be in the costume more often. I think the costume looks really good. It looks really good on screen. Harv is with me on this that sometimes the CG is a little bit wonky. Especially around the face area when he's talking in certain scenes. But I'm willing to look over that because it's more of like a TV show version of this. And when eventually he makes it to the silver screen or the big screen, they'll obviously fix most of those issues. But I mean, I feel at least for right now where we are, I feel like the MoonKnight part, even though it's mentioned, feels like it's taking a back seat.
So I'll jump in here and say I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think the major problem that I have with it is it does the same classic like traditional like episode. You think like the TV show The Incredible Hulk, right? David Banner would turn into Lou Ferrigno once for the episode, and it was always leading up to the end of the episode where he would turn into the Hulk. And it happens so much in these episodes where it's like we're building up to the suit reveal, which you get pretty early on, which is really great. I'm not gonna say when, but it's really cool. But I feel like they do it. They play that card once every episode, and it's always specifically for something, as opposed to say like, for instance, Batman. Almost 90% of the movie, 95% of the movie, he's in the suit. And I think that's obviously something that we just want to see. We don't need all this extra stuff. I think if you just started telling MoonKnight stories as opposed to like we're introducing MoonKnight to the world, again, there's no one that knows who this character is. I understand why they have to structure the show in those ways, and I think that's okay. I do find it interesting that we're focusing on the Stephen Grant version of this character versus the Mark Spector version, and like we're not sure who we trust and who's the good guy, which clearly it's all seemingly Steven is the good guy. But yeah, I'm
to me at this point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like matter. To me at this point, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, totally. I just feel like that we put all our,
who's bad.
But I felt like we put all our trust in one thing, and then now we're focusing on the other person, and I don't know if I like them as much as the other. It's interesting how they do it. It's the same actor, which I find interesting. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I do find that, especially in the way that they're structuring the show, and maybe it's the limitation of the 6th episode too. Like maybe this needed a little bit more to breathe. But my also problem is with the way that the main villain's plot is progressing. It seems really fast, and normally it doesn't go as fast as it does in this.
I'm intrigued what Sly was going to say about the 3rd episode, because that came to a head for me on the 3rd episode.
Yes,
I'll be real with you. I'll be real with you. This villain is fucking boring. Like
my thing is, I don't know who the villain is at this point. True. I know who the main antagonist so far has been.
Yes.
I don't feel like he's going to be the series villain.
I agree.
I feel like we're going to get another villain later, and he's just going to be the main antagonist for now.
I agree.
But yeah, no, like I feel like there's no way they're setting what we've seen in, at least for the first 2 episodes. There's no way he's going to be the series
fully
villain.
Agree with that, even after seeing the 3rd one, actually.
Yeah, I like it's so hard to give a shit about his motivation when like it's just the same moral dilemma of like every other superhero like that we've ever seen. It's just like, oh, do you fight crime before crime happens, or do you let crime happen before it happens? It's the same cookie cutter bullshit we've already seen, and like I really do hope Sly's right, and then like it's just a rug pull. Like, oh man, this is just a little thing, but for right now, he's just so like. It's I don't know. It's not, there's no real like.
My thing is he's not wrong.
Stake.
That's what I find interesting about him, is that he is just approaching it in the same way, in the opposite direction of what the main character is doing, but they're kind of like still parallel, but they're different.
Yeah. Just Minority Report.
We had a great conversation about that on the After Party show last week, talking about how using antagonists, conflating like social support systems with being the villains is a problem. So if you want more on that topic, check out We'll Throw the After Party.
Yeah. It's a very like it's hard to like really give a shit about what's going on. So then like the only time I've ever really like feel engaged with the show is when like the MoonKnight stuff is actually happening. Like I get it. The character himself is also MoonKnight, and I appreciate that Oscar Isaacs is fucking killing it. Yes. Absolutely destroying that role. He's doing a good job. He's 100% is. It's too much of the same Marvel formula that we've seen before in other media, like Daredevil, like Hawkeye, like all these other things. Like we're waiting until we get this suit reveal, and then we're gonna do slow action until we get it, and then we're gonna have some big bang finale. But by the time the big bang finale hits, it's just like. Were the other episodes before it worth it that much for that finale? You know what I mean?
It's the standard 3-act structure of all of television, and I think that I wish that they would break from it a little bit, or at least go at a different direction. But yeah, and then we'll get to the 4th episode, and I'm not gonna say anything else past that, but like we're not gonna get more of something, and so that's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I'm curious.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm hoping that it gets better. I mean, I'm hoping that the first 3 episodes are just like, hey, we're going to get all the dumb bullshit out of the way. That way, the last 3 episodes are just going to be really like, just really fun and like high octane. You know what I mean? Because I think that the show, like even the action scenes are really well done. Like just the parts where like MoonKnight is actually fighting people is really good for Marvel. Like we're talking like almost Daredevil level of like action sometimes. You know what I mean? Maybe not season 3 Daredevil, maybe like season 1 Daredevil, but like what's there is good. It's just it seems like they know what's good, so they're like teasing you over and over again, and it's like we're already like phase 4 already, guys. We don't need teasing anymore. Just fucking hit me with it.
I'm really interested to see what the first 2 like acts are, and I feel like it's gonna end on episode 4 because all the like press teasers that they sent out were the first 4 episodes, which seems like a really weird choice, which means something big has to happen in episode 4 that you need to understand the show, which we could talk about later, but I'm curious to see what our thoughts are after episode 4.
Yeah, especially after you see episode 3, I think you have a clear idea of what it may be. But yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah, I think Frank, the only thing I want to say, I wish it was Daredevil level in terms of the action. The reason why I say that is because the little that we get is so fast and cookie cutter, or invisible is the best way to describe it.
I hate that shit, by the way. Like, I hate the invisible stuff that's going on. Like, you had to do
in strobe lights.
That too.
So I can't watch
covered
it.
in strobe lights or
all
weird
the
freeze
action
frames.
has flashing lights, and
or it's fucking shaky cam.
Yeah, shaky cam like
and
this.
It's weird because like if you were to do this, right? If I were to do this, I would explain once that these things are invisible to everybody but you. That way the audience knows. And we don't need to keep seeing them invisible. We know they're there. Like we know that the other people can't see them. So why keep making them invisible?
You know why, Frank? Right? Budget. That's why.
Budget.
It's budget.
I mean, they had good. But they got Disney money. Come on. I'm not saying you're wrong, but you're probably 100% right.
Oh yeah, they have Disney money, but Disney probably doesn't want to give them that much money to do it because they have other projects.
Like you could do this under budget for this amount of money. Perfect. Okay. Green screen? Don't worry about it. You know?
Yeah, the CGI in episode 3 was complete trash, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
like
100%.
all of it was so bad.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
Even there's some parts even in episode 2 where I'm like,
yeah.
Even the first one. Even the first one, I think. I will say though, the fight scenes toward the end of the second episode, I liked, and we talked about it. There's a really great GIF out there. But other than that, I think that I'm still intrigued as to what's gonna be like the main hook of this character. I like the design.
We're all in too deep. It doesn't matter what they put out.
100%.
We're gonna watch.
My thing is, I'm ready for the next thing. That's the problem with Marvel. Is that like, okay, what am I watching here that leads it into the next thing? You know, so
we're all in too deep. It doesn't matter what they announce next. We're like, all right, let's jump in. Let's see where we go.
Secret Invasion. Let's go.
You're not wrong. I mean, I'll suck up anything that's Marvel, but like, I really do hope that this isn't a sign of like stagnation within those studios that is just making them kind of lazy and like doing like certain things like that, like bad CGI and stuff like that. Because let's be real here, we all know there's people out there who will be like, oh yeah, we think the CGI is shit, and there's somebody out there who's gonna be like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's good.
There's
why are you complaining?
There is also that truth of like, well, they'll fix it later. And I don't want them to do that. I'm tired of that shit where it's like...
Spoilers. Somebody gets impaled in the show at some point, and people were already making jokes that it's going to get taken out in a year for a year now.
Or they updated the graphics in Spider-Man, and so now it's changed from the original cut when you saw it in the theater, like stuff like that, where it's just like, okay, we'll fix it later. And I'm like, I don't like that mentality. I'm like, fix it.
I don't like it's the video game mentality that's kind of making video games kind of hard to love right now. It's just like, ship it broken, fix it later.
Now we're doing it to movies, and I'm like, I don't appreciate that whatsoever.
If there's anything I've learned from my time in studio production classes is to remove the phrase "we'll fix it in post" from your vocabulary. And it feels like all of Marvel lately has just been, we'll fix it in the next project, and I don't appreciate it.
Yeah,
it does. You bring up a good point too. Definitely Marvel lately, right? It feels a lot of like. It just feels like they're taking the Activision Call of Duty approach, which is like since we have to show up, we're just gonna throw out whatever we have, and hope for the best. And I hope this mentality ends and they just start like, I understand people get antsy and the fanboys get like, look at Spider-Man. Look how much they got bothered over Spider-Man. And they're like, screw it, we'll finally show some shit. But like, I just hope that they start taking their time again, because that's what really made those original phases so good, is that they took their time. 5
movies and 10 TV shows in 1 year.
Yeah, we don't need to introduce 50 million characters.
What's
2023 is what, 4 movies, right?
4 movies and like 3 TV shows or something like that, or 2 TV shows. There's
plus Star Wars. We're not even there.
Star Wars,
yeah.
Plus Star Wars.
Fee, I know you haven't seen MoonKnight yet, but maybe you can comment on that too. Just like, in the current, like, what Marvel you've seen, what do you think? Like, do you think they're starting to get a little stagnant, or do you think like, maybe it's just people are just liking what's coming out, so they just don't care?
You're muted.
You're muted.
I was
waiting for it.
Just start looking down to see if it's red before you go.
I mean, I haven't talked in like 20 minutes.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I think right now what they're trying to do is they're trying to fill in a specific void that they've made for themselves with the ending of essentially the original Avengers. So they're currently just trying to kind of rebuild in a sense. Just trying to find new people to either add into all these characters are from the like comic book series. Like they're all comic book, but I feel like what they're trying to do right now is they're trying to build more and more. Mind you, do I think this is a good idea? I don't think so. They already had so many characters to begin with. Mind you, I'm very excited to see a lot more representation when it comes to the MCU. It's really awesome to see that, and I've heard nothing but good things about MoonKnight, because there's been things like actual authentic like music from Egypt.
The music when the credits are happening, like that kind of shit, is so fucking good.
Which I'm really excited about. I just feel like they might be like over pushing it by adding so much at once. Mind you,
I mean, my biggest problem with MoonKnight so far is that if you look at the production brief, it's a whole thing. But the production brief spends like 6 pages talking about how they made sure it was authentic to Egypt and Egyptian culture and Egyptian history, and does not talk about Jewish representation in the entire production brief, and has like a paragraph about the representation of dissociative identity disorder. So they like went ham on Egypt and ignored everything else about this character.
And Ethan Hawke speaks Chinese, and apparently it's terrible.
Mandarin? He speaks Mandarin?
He speaks Mandarin. Yeah, I even know that because I've seen the clips. I don't know. I just think, like, I'm excited to see where they're going with it, because I feel like obviously over the next few years they're gonna have to find a way to bring everything together, because they love bringing everyone together. It seems to be obviously a very like a prominent story aspect throughout the entirety of the MCU, that at some point all of these characters are coming together in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, 100%. We're going to see MoonKnight on the silver screen at some point.
Yeah, either in the Blade movie or, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I'm excited to see a lot more, but at the same time I'm like, y'all are going too ham. Like, I feel like maybe they could take like, I'm not saying like go full Assassin's Creed and like not release anything for a year, but at the same time, like you all said, next year there's gonna be 4 movies and 3 shows. Like, that's absurd. What the fuck are you doing?
To be fair, I do want to be fair. I remember when the pandemic started, we were all like, fuck, we're not gonna get anything for a year. I mean, we ended up getting something for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but I'll be real with you. It sucked, but what got me through it was like, I hope with that much time that you haven't released anything, that what you're putting out is very, very high quality.
Sure.
And some of this stuff has been very hit and miss. Like, I really didn't like Hawkeye. I'll be real with you.
I do think that also that timeline got shrunken down even with the pandemic, because it wasn't like they were working the entire time. You know, they worked when they were available to work.
But I feel like that gives you time to brainstorm. You know what I mean? Like doing things like a thing like shaky cam. Like there's one episode of fucking Blacklist where they had a shaky cam, and I'm like, I can tell this is a season 1, and y'all need to stop this. And they haven't done it since.
Yeah.
And it was so bad because it wasn't just like moving. It was like this. They're like, whoa. They're like, we have to chase them as they're going through a fight. And you're just like, stop. I'm getting sick. I had to like speed through it because I'm like, I know this character's running. Like, you can give that same effect by not giving me an entire like fucking like migraine or like whatever that might be. It's just, it was so obnoxious. Like I love things like mockumentaries, don't get me wrong. Like the idea of like having that kind of like natural camera movement, sure, but if it looks like you're hitting every single pothole, do not do it. Like, you do not need to do this. You do not need to do this. There's no point in doing this. Like, God forbid. But no, I think that should have been an opportunity for them to brainstorm a little bit more and kind of think about like, what can we do? Because yeah, you're not shooting at that time. There was still things like WandaVision that came out last year, and we did still have like some shows coming out, but taking those opportunities to be like, okay, here's the thing. We have these particular movies and shows planned. What can we do? And rather than doing like, we can fix it in post or we can fix it in the next show, what can we do right now to avoid those types of hiccups during these types of shows? Rather than like, oh man, it's kind of like almost, and I'm talking as myself as a procrastinator, at sometimes like stuff like this feels like they fixed it the night before they like the assignment is due, and it's just like, come on, like the music. And like, I know when it came to like WandaVision, and I can only base it off of that because I think that's kind of the realm of the last time I watched something for the MCU. Like, there was a lot of great aspects of it, but there was still some things where you're just like, okay, there's some disjointed issues with this. And I feel like
and you would think, after what, like 11 years of making stories for this medium, they would learn how to write effective women.
Or just effective characters in general too.
True, but mostly women. Especially Layla. But we can talk about that later.
Well, usually what I mean by effective characters too is just like, I feel like the age of like YouTube Shorts and TikTok has kind of ruined the writing process for some of these characters, because every fucking version of these shows, whether it's WandaVision, Falcon, Hawkeye, this has to have that, just like the same fucking characters. There's always the one character. Look how quirky I am. Look how unique and different I am. Like, look at all this dumb stuff I do. It's funny, isn't it? So then like everybody on TikTok and YouTube just like make a quick short out of it or some weird AMV or something like that, and then most of the show is just that. Like, each of these shows just have the same character, and it just gets so fucking boring seeing the same people over and over again. Look how quirky I am. Look at all this different stuff that I do that nobody actually does in real life. It's just like, I'm so annoyed by it already.
Frank is not like other girls anti.
It's not even girls in the show. It's just like look how quirky Bucky is. Look how quirky Steven is. Look how quirky Agatha is. Look how quirky, like, it's just like, bro, these are the same. They're all written the fucking same. Like, they all do the same weird
what they
shit.
all have in common?
What?
Trauma.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, so does like half of the fucking characters. So do the superheroes. So do everybody's got trauma in these movies.
Hold on. So they tried to market MoonKnight as the first character with mental illness in the MCU. Have you met the rest of the MCU? What the
it's
fuck
like you guys
are you doing with your marketing for this show?
Whoever said that obviously didn't even. Have you not seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier? There's a whole scene where they're in a therapy room.
We're not going to talk about the Hulk.
Hulk? Like Tony Stark? He was an alcoholic? Come on.
Wanda created
It
an
had
entire
serious
like
anxiety.
town
Yeah, you create a whole universe.
out of like sheer like just out of like sheer like
Sheer
loss
grief.
and depression, grief.
Yeah.
She made an entire town and like mind controlled everybody and like forced them into these specific roles so she could like live through her comfort shows. Like
and process her trauma.
And then that's the thing. It's just like more and more. It makes me wonder. It's just like they have an overarching plan, right? They obviously do because there's no way they don't. But they don't have a plan for each of these shows. So the shows just go, hey, you just got to get right here. You got to make sure this happens. So then this can happen later on in the overarching plot. But otherwise, do whatever the fuck you want. But at the end of the day, these shows feel like it's just a giant checklist. Like, got the quirky character, check. Got the superhero moment, check. We got this, check. It's just a bunch of check marks. And they're all starting to feel the same, right? And it's
Kevin Feige checklist.
Yeah, the Kevin Feige checklist. Yeah, fuck the
Kevin. I'm intrigued to see where Doctor Strange goes. For Multiverse of Madness, mainly because of Sam Raimi. See how he's gonna tackle that. But I still stand by that. Doctor Strange is the most uninteresting character I've ever fucking seen in the MCU.
Quick
I'll
question.
be real with you. Everybody who's ever said they read Doctor Strange comics before Doctor Strange came out is fucking lying to you.
Quick question.
I never read the comics. I don't know who the character was. I still don't like him that much.
Let me tell you something dead ass. Nobody gave a shit about Thor, Doctor Strange, Iron Man.
No, nobody did. Nobody gave a shit.
Yeah, nobody.
The MCU.
Guardians.
And all of a sudden, everyone's the giant Guardians. Nobody even knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were. They didn't know who Rocket Raccoon was.
My thing with Doctor Strange, and I'm starting to agree with certain people on this one, is that the only reason why I'm excited for Doctor Strange is because I want to see movie characters.
The cameos, man. It's the cameos.
But then I'm like, what is the ramifications of the world? Like, why do I give a shit about this movie? And what is it going to matter afterwards? Like, I don't know what my feelings on that is. Other than if this is what brings on X-Men, then I'm totally okay with it. But that's the only thing I could.
The Dark Wanda arc.
I get that, but I also like, where does that go? Like,
I can tell you where that goes right now. They're gonna fake her out being evil. 100%. They're not going to make her evil. Come on.
I mean,
Marvel?
in the comics.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%. No, in the comics, yeah.
I get it.
No more mutants and all that. But, like, I don't think the MCU itself, like, where they're writing, has the balls to do that. And if they did...
If they do.
I think clip this out right now and show it to me a year from now when they actually do it, and I'll eat my own fucking words. But I don't think they have the balls to do that.
I mean, you don't have to wait a year. We have to wait a month. It comes out next month.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, like the entire Dark Wanda arc would then bring in the event, like the X-Men, because that's when
it'll be the reverse of the comic.
House M stuff. Right?
Yeah, because that introduces her connection with Magneto and stuff like that. So
makes sense.
What's the other dude? Manifest. What is his name?
Mephisto. Which we've been fucking saying his name since WandaVision, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this demon dude.
He's fucking Voldemort at this point. Say Mephisto 3 times in the mirror and he shows up.
No, 100%. But
he does. That's the funny thing. He doesn't show up.
He just show up. He's Ralph Boner. But seriously, specifically about that, I believe you're right that this is why the only thing that I'm like, hey, this would be cool if the X-Men showed up is because we already know that in the trailer is a voice that's very recognizable. And I'm like, I'm so happy they're bringing those in. So that has to tie it in some direction. Like, if that makes that world canon in some weird way, which it already does just because it's associated with it. But yeah, just fucking cool. But other than that, it's like, I don't know what else I care about unless it's bringing an X-Men. Otherwise, fucking all right. I guess so. Yeah.
And then for our audio listeners and just anybody who's watching, like, we're not necessarily saying the Marvel Universe is bad, right?
No, I love every fucking second of it, but I have criticism about it.
100% everybody in this room right now is going to eat up every single piece of little crumb that they give us. But at the end of the day, like, if nobody says anything about it, they're probably never gonna, like, they won't listen to us, obviously, but like, I do see a lot of fans who are just so eager to just take whatever they get and then just like say, you know what, it's what we got, there's nothing we can do about it, that's it. Like, that's what creates this stagnation in like media, is people just taking whatever they get and just saying that's okay. And
we were riffing on this before the show. Like, when we look at the things we love and we criticize them and we talk about their faults and their problems, it's not out of a place of like ragging on these projects. It's out of a place of wanting them to be better.
Yeah.
Because if we don't criticize and we don't talk out about the problems, they're not going to get any better, and we're not going to see any progress being made.
Yeah.
So when we look at the things we love, we have to criticize them. We have to look at them through a critical lens if we want them to get any better. And to just accept what you're given, or to say, oh, like, they're giving us so much, why complain about what we got, is detrimental to the entire creative process.
But this is
good.
This is why, like, I forgot who I was talking to. Maybe it was Fee, or maybe it was somebody else that I was talking to. It's like, it's the thing about Elden Ring, right? I love this game. It's game of the year. It was
almost with the whole episode without saying it. We almost
but we didn't.
Wait, what? We didn't talk about Elden Ring this whole time.
but I love this game. It's game of the year. It is an amazing game. But like, I have gripes with like the last part of the game. You're running right through it right now.
It's pissing me off. I'm
Mario.
gonna quit.
Yeah. You're running through it right now, and it's just like, I love From Software. I love their games, but you got to be able to criticize the games because they're not perfect. Like, Elden Ring is not a perfect game.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Go ahead. You got to be able to criticize what you love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, I mean, nothing's perfect in this world. And if you don't know what's wrong with something, then you're just kind of melting into the background of it.
Yeah. There are instances where Marvel has, I would say, listened to the fans in some aspects and has come back and changed it. But I feel that Sly is right in saying, like, oh, we'll get it right the next time. Specifically, like the Mandarin thing, right? Everyone really got upset about the Mandarin, the way that they handled it in Iron Man 3. And then what do? They have retconned it in a way that makes it more happier for fans.
Yeah. And then someone like me who was one of those people who riffed on it, I was like, yeah, that's a cool change. I like that.
Yeah. I think that's smart, and then they were able to handle it in a way that I thought was much more better, and made that character much more fun too, in a lot of ways. So definitely, I love Shang-Chi. It's really awesome. I was watching it the other day, but yeah, no, I think we're ready to get off this Marvel MoonKnight train.
Yeah,
and take it in for the night, and tell me a little bit about Downton Abbey, Harv. I just want to know a little about Downton Abbey.
I'm just rewatching it again.
You're just watching it again.
Where are you at? What are you watching? Tell me more.
I'm on. I'm not gonna.
My love.
Did you see his rant over the weekend on Boris Johnson? Oh my god, it was so good. It's so good.
I'm gonna watch that.
My
wallpaper.
No, I'm on series 5, season finale. Season finale of series 5. So like, I'm already deep into it already.
There you go.
And because the new movie's coming out soon.
Yes.
In a couple months. For Downton Abbey, so I'm very, very excited. This all started with Bridgerton. If you and I watched the first episode of Bridgerton, or first 2 episodes of Bridgerton, and I was like, this is not a good show. To me, it's not a good show, but mainly because it is more, it has more drama than anything else. And all of a sudden, I hear Ariana Grande. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching right now?
It's like
nice.
In a show that's based in the 1800s.
Okay, first of all, it's instrumental. But you also need to also understand it's a fucking Shonda Rhimes show, so they're gonna fucking put the modern music in some capacity in the show. But I also want to bring up, because you're talking about fucking Downton Abbey, this fucker tried to bring up the Gilded Age to me, and I'm like, I know. Don't even start, Harv, because I told you about this.
She told me about
this. School her on history.
No, because I went on to Crave, and I was like, and then I saw the Gilded Age, and then I saw that it's the same creator that made Downton Abbey, and I told her, and apparently she already told me like a while ago that it was, and I totally forgot.
Because it was when I was watching Sex and the City, because I'm like, did you know there's Cynthia Nixon, who is in Sex and the City, is in the Gilded Age, and it's by the same fucking creator of Downton Abbey, and you're like, oh cool, maybe I'll check it out sometime. It just goes right over your fucking head, and then you try to come back at me and you're just like, have you heard of Gilded Age?
And I'm like, thing is just like, this happens every now and again, even with me and Mario, where like I'll tell him something and he'd be like, did you hear about this thing? I'm like, yeah, I'm the one who told you.
Oh my god, I'm like, Harv, I literally told you about the show earlier.
I need to now I need to know. Now I need to know if Gilded Age is going to have some sort of tie-in with Downton Abbey, because they're almost roughly the same place. Gilded Age starts in like the late 1800s,
1880s.
And I think 1887 or 1883 or something like that.
I'm sure
and
a
then
character just crosses over, you know.
And then, but
1882.
1882, okay, yeah, but Downton Abbey doesn't start till 1913.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how they're gonna cross because like there is travel going between America and the UK.
Yeah, because Gilded Age is all it's based in New York.
Yeah, it's based in New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I saw red because I was just like,
bro, Harv, if you were in the same room, you would have got your ass beat.
Yeah, no, right?
I was just like,
hands would have been thrown.
Because I told, and then I like explained to him, I'm like, I literally told you why I was watching Sex in the City, and he was just like, yeah, Cynthia Nixon's in it. I'm like, oh.
Did you know Cynthia Nixon is in Sex in the City? Fee?
Yeah, did you know that?
She's also on the show called Gilded Age. But Downton Abbey is a fucking amazing show. Amazing show.
Mansplain all of Fee's favorite shows to her.
Do you ever hear about the Blacklist? It's got that one guy in it.
That's some guy named some fucking dude from The Office. I can't remember his name. James something.
Ralph Whittington. I have no
Spader. James.
Ralph Harder.
I just want to like
Spade.
Since we're bringing this up, there is a really great Reddit that says that Robert California from The Office is actually Reddington, and that they're just connected because in the show he plays as Robert California, and at the end he then gets contracted to go to Eastern Europe to work with essentially like underprivileged dancers, that like female dancers starting like in college age. It's a little bit weird, but then he introduces himself as a completely different person with a different name. And so not only that, he convinces the CEO of Saber to he like got bored of being like essentially Michael Scott because he got Michael Scott's job. Jim explains the fact that he got bored of that role. He drove all the way to Tallahassee where the CEO of Saber was. He convinces her that she should retire and then make him the CEO of Saber. And so for half the season, he's just the fucking CEO of Saber, and then convinces what is his name? He convinces the guy who buys out like essentially Dunder Mifflin back from Saber that he should get essentially money to go help these underprivileged dancers from the ages of like 19 to 23.
God.
Hey, Fee.
Yes.
Did you know Steve Carell is in The Office?
Okay, we're leaving this topic now.
My favorite thing is I'm pretty sure that was a wonderful, beautiful, lovely explanation from Fee, but halfway through Mario put a jump scare on the confidence monitor and I checked out halfway through. I'm so sorry, Fee.
It's a picture of Jack Nicholson randomly.
Freaks me out.
I quit this podcast. I don't talk for 20 minutes, and then I want to talk about my own thing.
Honestly, the main thing to get out of main thing to get out of this is that watch Downton Abbey. It's a very good show.
Yeah, who's in Downton Abbey? Harv, you said some character. Someone's in there. You might have heard it from the internet. Dan Stevens.
Maggie Smith is in it. God, come on.
Maggie Smith?
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe you just told me that. You have a knowledge about Downton Abbey.
I still hold true to everything in that show can be fixed by throwing everyone out the window.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's just throw Charlie Cox out the window. It's fine.
I didn't know that was Charlie Cox. I did not put two and two together until
Daredevil's
this
in the
time.
show
for like a couple episodes. Yeah,
you wanted to throw him out a window.
Oh shit! Don't throw Charlie Cox out of a window.
Shotgun McPain, cut this out. Cut this out. I can't even open my eyes.
I think Mario is dead.
Yeah.
I think Mario's about to... Frank, you might need to call 911 on for him.
Harv, what is Legends of Rivera?
Well, let me take you back.
An inhaler for this episode.
Let me take you back to the year 2021. Was it 2021?
Yes.
Who knows?
Yeah. The year 2021, where we went back and did some You know when they go like when they go, what the fuck are you sweating? So your cat is your napkin.
Tears.
Drawing his face with his cat.
Continue.
We did a charity stream. Fee and I did a charity stream, and we got a medal for it. And apparently, Fee is going to melt it down for parts at some point.
No, I was gonna send it to you, and then half the year it'll be with you, and then half of the year will be with me, and it's gonna be like the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Like a friendship
Sweet.
bracelet or a friendship
what it was.
necklace.
Yeah.
I seen that.
Okay.
Oh man.
Would you need two bracelets?
What if you break it in half?
No,
and you just
the
together?
whole purpose is there's one pair of pants, Harv, and they ship it to each other.
You know, I've never seen the
it's
movie,
like,
so I have no
so
idea.
they fucking join like Voltron, dude.
So every
like-
time Fee talks about every time Fee talks about the sister pants or whatever they're fucking
The
called.
sister pants. What the fuck is the sister pants?
I have no idea what she's talking about.
The Sisterhood of Traveling Pants.
I'll be real with
Hey
you, though. I'll
everyone,
be real with you, though.
welcome to
I
this
thought the-
episode of
I don't
Chaos
know-
Hours.
I don't know
Thanks for
shit.
joining us.
I don't know shit about Sisterhood of Traveling Pants. I thought the pants actually traveled. I thought the pants just
Yeah, no-
walked around like real people legs.
No.
Do they
And
sense
they're
pants?
just sisters with this weird fucking pant monster walking around with them who gives them advice and shit about their life or something. I don't know.
every 3 months it goes to a new person, and they're like, "Well, Jane, it's your turn now."
Thank you, Levi Jeans. You have saved my life.
No, it is a movie. Well, it's a series about 4 girls that like have
Whoa,
different
hold on. How
body
big is
shapes.
the sisterhood here? I thought it was just 2 people.
No, it's 4.
Okay, how many pieces of the pants do they have? How do they divide these pants? Does one person get one butt? The other person get like a leg? Does the other person get like another butt? And the other person get a leg?
They
no.
all. Oh my god, they're separated from like during the summer,
can't
and so
believe
they
we're
keep
still-
on shipping their pants to each other.
Wait,
Yes.
So they have a pair.
Frank,
they have a
Frank.
piece of the pant for every time of the year.
No.
One sec, Frank. So do they just send do they send the pants to each other?
Yes.
Let me explain this movie.
Yes.
Oh, is this
Okay.
like a one-size-fit-all
No.
pant?
Oh my god,
Frank, this is the
Oh.
pants. Oh,
my
damn
god,
it. That's the doc.
No,
Oh,
let me
my
explain
bad.
the movie. Let me explain the fucking movie. So there's
Okay.
4 girls who all are best friends.
Jesus Christ.
Who all have different body shapes, and they magically find out that there's a pair of jeans that they can all fit in. And so
God.
what they decide to do, because they're all doing separate things during the summer, that they're going to ship the pants to like one of them. So what they're going to do is they're going to like they're going to wear the pants for the week, then they're going to ship the pants to to their friend with a
Just Google a pair of pants. Is what I wrote.
Okay, one thing I want to say.
of the
Okay,
traveling
keep going,
pants.
Fee.
It
Keep
had
going.
American Friera, like Alexis.
What?
Bledel,
Alexis Bledel.
What is going on?
Blake Lively in it.
Blake Lively.
Oh, these are the actresses that are in
These
there.
are the
Okay,
actresses,
I thought this was what the pants names were.
No, it's one pair of fucking.
Wait, okay. So the pants. So what you're telling me right now is the pants are not sentient.
No.
Okay. I thought the pants were like.
No, it's one pair of fucking pants that they find at a vintage store.
Okay, so they send each other these pants, right? After like,
Yes.
so this is only during the summertime. So we got the 4 months, right?
Okay.
4 months of summer,
Correct.
right? There's 4 friends, so each one gets it for a month.
Yeah.
Each week, it's a weekly
Okay.
thing. They
Oh, it's a
send
weekly.
the
Okay.
Oh,
pants.
it's a weekly thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mario,
cool.
I sent you a picture of the pants, by the way, if you want to put it up.
That is going to be expensive because of postage. Like, holy
Oh my
fuck.
God.
But the other thing is, what if somebody just can't fit into the pants anymore?
No, that's the whole point. They
Are
can
these
all
like a
fit in the
one-size-fit-all? How do they all fit
They're
in the pants?
magic pants.
Oh, they're
is it
magic. Wait, so
pants?
they
Far
are
from
magic
each other's
pants.
So these pants are sentient, is what you're saying? Are they a monster in Elden Ring?
No, when you put the pants on, you go into your favorite sports star, just like that Disney Channel movie.
Oh my God. No. Oh my God. I'm
Frank,
about to
where's his
like.
pants? I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, if you
No.
go.
Okay,
Oh, it's a new
the
DM.
entire premise is that shockingly, these pants could all like each one of them tried on the pair of the pants and they're like, wow, they all fit us. And so they're like, to kind of keep connected through the summer, what we're gonna do is we're going to like ship the pants to each other and then leave a letter to the next person that you're shipping the pants to, and so then you can stay connected during the summer.
It's for whimsical.
So, Mario here put up a picture of the pants here.
The fuck. Okay, it makes sense. It makes sense. It doesn't make sense in a practical way at all.
The pants were like, if you've ever seen Ed, Ed and Eddie, like plank.
It is.
Oh, to be like, what if I had to be sweets 1 week, and then I was like, oh shit, I can't fit these pants anymore.
Oh my god, thank you for people who are saying it's important for me to explain this. I appreciate the chat right now. And yes, it was in fact a best-selling book series called The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Oh my goodness! And then there was a movie.
I do have a question about these pants really quick. If my ass were to get like.
What if you're working out all the time?
What if I get a giant ass, right? And they just don't fit in the pants anymore, right? Am I out of the sisterhood?
So that was Legends of Runeterra. Thank you so much, Harv, for telling us.
Okay. So the Legend of Runeterra. So this all started with our extra life thing, with the medal that Fee has, that she's gonna send over at some point, from the Skosh, you know.
Oh my god! Don't ever say that again. That sounds terrible. I want to go to the bathroom right now and just like get mouthwash for just saying that out loud.
Skosh.
I don't want to do the news. This is perfect.
But yeah, so yesterday Fee taught me how to play Legends of Runeterra, which is a card game. I've never played this game before.
Really
I don't play card games.
I'm gonna be honest. Let's be real. Let's be real. Who the person actually was teaching you how to play the game?
He was there for commentary. Lucas is who taught me how to play the game.
We all know Frank hates card games, but yes.
It's a good game. It's a fun game. It's got cool animation. I was missing half like the sound effects for some reason. I don't know why.
Because you would hear all the poros.
Yeah, but it's a fun game. It's a cool game. Deck builders is still just not my thing. I don't know why. They're just not my thing. And I think it's just because like I lost interest in deck building when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And I don't think I could ever.
Well, Yu-Gi-Oh's not a deck builder. Deck builders are played a little bit differently. But I know what you're trying to say. I know what you're trying to say. Trying to say though.
I build a deck with Yu-Gi-Oh cards, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but a deck builder's played like you're building the deck organically through the game, not necessarily building it ahead of time.
Explain.
Oh, okay.
No, I just before I explain, what the fuck is on your glass, Harv?
That's the early '90s McDonald's cup.
Shinzango.
Jesus Christ.
Shinzano.
This is a type of liquor, so it came with the liquor that I bought.
Okay.
No, I was concerned because I was just like, honestly, the way that it looked like you just had like a glass full of gummy candy, and you were just sitting there
drinking gummies.
Am I high? What's happening right now?
We've transitioned into chaos hours because we don't have any fucking news this week.
Why not? No. So essentially Runeterra is based off of the very popular League of Legends, and so the premise of the game is the most popular one is the essentially the trials that you're specifically playing, Harv, which is the PvE option, which is where you specifically select a champion. So Harv you always start off with Jinx. And so you go through her kind of like story path. It's called Path of Champions. That's what I call it, not Trials. Path of Champions. So you play as Jinx, and you have a starting deck, and you specifically have different challenges and trials that you have to go through. And while you're going down this path, you might get some extra cards after you defeat someone, or you might get a bonus or a buff, or you might and early on you also get a companion champion that you can select from 3 different options. Usually you want to select one that works really well with your build, and each type of champion has kind of like a build that you're looking to do. So Jinx is all about that like early round, like I'm gonna blast your face off and get you like take you down as fast as I can. There's other champions, for example, Caitlyn, who's my favorite, where it's all about like sabotaging the other person's deck by just adding bombs into your deck, just like filling it up with bombs. And so you're just trying to
to live out here.
So then when they draw a card, like they might do like 4 damage to a character on their field. So the entire time is you're trying to protect your Nexus, which is kind of the same gameplay that you have for League of Legends, because you do have a Nexus in League. Whereas this one, you have 30 health and you have to try to make it from point A to point B. And there's different animations. There's about 13 different cities or like realms that you can be a part of. There's some which is like Piltover that you see in Arcane. So that was really popular, and that's why the ones that you like start off with is Jinx, Vi, Caitlyn, Echo.
So as I was playing this game, I was going through all this kind of stuff and going through like these different characters. This gave me the same feeling as Strangers of Paradise. When I play Strangers of Paradise, I want to play Neo 2. I'd rather play that game. When I play this game,
what would you rather play?
Out of what?
I mean, for this then.
No, when I play this game, I'd rather just watch Arcane.
Okay,
I'd rather just watch the show and go through the story that way, and wait for season 2 to come out, because like it gets me hyped for season 2. Like this actually gets me hyped for season 2 because I want to know where these characters go, because like I like the story of League, and like this gets me excited for Project M or Project L, I think it's called, right? Project L, I think it is the fighting game, which they're gonna have League characters in it as well.
Yes.
Which is really cool, and I'm excited to see where they go with that. That's what gets me more excited than Runeterra, because Runeterra is something like the card games aren't my thing, but a fighting game is, or a TV show is. So I'm excited to like jump back into that world once the new TV show comes out.
For sure.
Every time there's something with a project in it, I just think of the disaster of a name that was Project Triangle Strategy or whatever.
That game's so well,
a good game.
The game's a good name though.
Yeah,
it's
very
like
good.
Funny.
It looks like a great game. The name is a goddamn disaster.
Oh yeah, no, that's a dumb
I
name.
don't know what Square Enix is thinking half the time when they make their fucking titles.
Yeah,
Kingdom Hearts should be your thing. That's fucking Exhibit A.
Yeah, fucking Kingdom Hearts. No, I
better watch your back. Oh, go ahead.
I don't give a diddly damn. Come after me.
Better watch your back. These Kingdom Hearts fans are crazy, man. You seen this week?
Fine.
There is also an RPG coming out today. Yes, there is also a leak.
It's fine.
Yes.
They just have to wait until like 2028 for their new game.
Yeah.
Damn, got him.
I mean, she's not wrong. She's not wrong.
Enjoy being like 50 when that game comes out.
We don't even know what Project L is gonna come out at this point, right? Like we're
Marian's
still trying to
leaving.
figure it out.
He's just like, I'm hiding from the Kingdom Hearts fandom.
Fucking dead. Got me.
Fucking got him.
No, I like this game because I'm a huge fan of like deck building games, even though Legends of Runeterra is a little bit different in comparison to the classic or standard deck builder. It's kind of like a slow burn deck builder, because it's not like you're building the deck while like in the middle of the actual game itself, or they're not implementing kind of adding them in during the gameplay. It's afterwards, so then you have a kind of like you add more cards. I appreciate that, because I'm not a huge fan of like making a deck from like the square one and then having to build a deck up that way. I like to like, here's your base, here's kind of like the vibe of the deck, and here's what you need to do to build off of that.
Kind of augment it.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I've played Hearthstone before. I've tried to do PvP, Legends of Runeterra, and honestly, like statistically, the PvE portion of Legends of Runeterra does significantly better than the PvP version. Or the PvP aspect of it, because there's so much. I think right now they have about 22 champions that you can actually go through their storyline. Mind you, there's not as many bells and whistles as like Vi and Vi, Jinx and Caitlyn and all those, because obviously Arcane, so they added more like bells and whistles. But I'm excited to see, like, I agree with Harv. This definitely gets me wanting to watch Arcane again, and probably like getting excited for season 2, because I know that like at least the rumor is they're going to be paying more attention to other specific areas rather than just being Piltover. So I'm very excited for that. Because
Yeah, expand the world.
There's
more
enough,
to this world. Yeah, there's more to this world. I don't want to stick it. It's one of the problems I've always had with Star Wars recently. It's like we always keep in one place, and why don't we go to other places?
I mean, like, if I walk over to Lucas's computer right now, there's like, he has the massive like curved monitor, and there's just the sun disk from Shurima. And for people who've played Legends of Runeterra or League or anything, you know what like the sun disk is, which that entire deck is based off of this massive, like, huge, like, god tier, like, sun disk. And then people are like, it's the sand, like the people of the sands,
like Dune.
Yeah, honestly, kind of like that.
Speaking of Dune and Star Wars and MoonKnight, do you know they all filmed in the same desert? Fun fact.
Yeah,
makes sense.
I was
Oscar Isaac can't leave that place apparently.
It was a giant rain.
He's trapped in that.
He's trapped in the
True,
desert.
He's in all three. Holy shit! I didn't even think about that.
All three.
No,
and he's naked in one of them.
Random side note, I recently watched an interview with Hans Zimmer, and his thought process on like at least soundtracks for like movies based in like sci-fi in the future makes a lot of sense, because he's just like, when I first like wanted to look at doing Dune, it makes no sense why they're like sci-fi like hundreds of thousands of years ahead of us, and you're still hearing a stringed orchestra. And that's why he did a bunch of like different things. Like he did a lot of like PPC piping that you get. Like, he's just like, I made instruments from Home Depot. Like, we went to Home Depot, bought a shit ton of pipes, and we made these like different like I guess like their own instruments specifically to make the sounds for Dune.
Yeah, I love it when composers do shit like that. Like that, honestly, that's what made like the Doom soundtrack so unique to me. Is just like, yeah, it's metal at the end of the day, but a lot of that stuff was done like, there's real chainsaws in there. Like there's just, they use chainsaws for the thing. They use Foley for like a lot of the sounds there. Yeah. Like there's a lot of unique sound there, and it's always like those composers that really think outside the box that makes such good fucking soundtracks.
Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that like when he talked about it, he's just like, because everyone's just like, oh, it's your music. He's just like, no, it's our music. It's everyone who worked on this project's music. It's not just specifically mine. Like, we worked together as a team. We all had a voice in how the music played out.
It's how Final Fantasy 14 composer does it. Like, they talk to the main story people, and they talk about like what's happening in the main story. Yeah. We'll come back with music, and then how does that jive with the main story at that particular moment, and how it works together with the music and how to tell that story.
Also, I was kind of like, it kind of threw me off, because like when I think of like people like Hans Zimmer and like these like really prolific like conductors,
John Williams,
composers. All of them, like,
what's his name, starts with an R?
A.R. Rahman.
Oh yeah, Rami is he did the Game of Thrones.
A.R. Rahman.
You're thinking of the guy who did the Pacific Rim soundtrack. He did Game of Thrones, Pacific Rim, and Westworld.
You guys are
talking about A.R. Rahman, right?
A.R. Rahman.
No,
yes.
I don't think so.
Whoever did Eternals.
Same guy.
A.R. Rahman did all of Game of Thrones.
Or like for me, Joe
Hisashi. Ramin, I can't say his last name. That's not happening. I'll put it in chat so you guys can see it into the Twitch chat. But that's the guy who did.
Ramin Djawadi. Yeah.
Ramin Djawadi. It's just like, I think of these like people, and like
A.R. Rahman, somebody else, but yeah.
They're phenomenal. Like, they're phenomenal like composers and stuff like that. But it just threw me for a loop when I saw this interview, and Hans Zimmer like was just like, he heard a piece of music and he's just like, oh fuck yeah, and I'm like, whoa, why, dude, what the fuck? Like, I was not.
Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer. He was just like, he was very chill, and he was getting like really excited, and he seemed like he really enjoyed what he's doing, and especially with this movie, because they're like.
Meanwhile, Danny Elfman's doing the same 3 keys in all his fucking songs, but I digress.
No, it's just like people like, they had one guy just like essentially making the sound of a wind into this like massive like pipes and like these instruments that they made, and also like this specific wind instrument that apparently makes people's ears bleed if it's played incorrectly, because it's incredibly small, like it's like smaller than a piccolo, and it has a higher pitch than a piccolo, so it is like almost like shrilling that only like a few specific like actual musicians play. And he's just like, oh yeah, like the guy who plays it, he's just like, I should not play this on a microphone. And Hans is just like, do it. Everyone's gonna love it. And it's so loud. I had to like go like this, like while he is playing it. It was shrilling. It was really good though. Highly recommend it. It's
I'm
called
into it.
I
How
love a
Doom
Piccoletto.
Composer
Very cool.
Hans Zimmer created the Oscar-winning score from Vanity Fair. Highly recommend that interview. It's
Okay.
like only 12 minutes long.
Well, that
Hans
was
Zimmer's a goat. Let's be real here.
well, that was Legends of Runeterra.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
also
God,
Sisterhood
Mario.
of the Traveling Pants.
But going with the same music, I've been playing near Replicant recently,
Mhm.
and that game's got fucking amazing music.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
The Nier series is fucking amazing.
Fucking incredible.
Near's
It's
got
so
fucking
good.
insanely
Incredible.
good music.
Just fucking incredible.
Oh my god! I right when I started this game, we were going through the first part of it. I just wanted to like put the game down and just listen to the music the entire time.
Yeah.
Fee, there's a couple game series I want to watch you play, or at least talk with you, like do commentary with. Nier is
Okay.
one of them because Nier is fucking awesome. But
I want to
also,
see you play Near Automata for sure.
That'd be wonderful. The other one actually is the fact that it's all on Stadia. Is the Life is Strange games that they're
Yes.
on there, and I think you would have fun.
And free with Pro.
Free with Pro. So if you want to sign for them, that's awesome. But yeah, Nier's a fantastic series, Harv. 100%.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
It's good to see. It's good to see like where some of these characters are coming from.
Yes.
That I saw in Automata, I was like, oh, this is cool. This is actually really, really cool.
That's
Again.
awesome. Ah.
Again.
I still have to jump in. I have it still sealed. So I'm very excited.
I forgot to type something after what I think I just put MoonKnight and that's it.
That's all you did.
That's fine. That's fine. And we'll talk about what I've been playing next week because like we're already running pretty hard.
Pretty hard. So I'm gonna go ahead and just speed through some of the things that I wrote. I've been reading a lot of comics. I bought an iPad recently, and so that started up all the subscriptions. I know that Xbox is offering 3 months free of Marvel Unlimited, so I got that ready to go. But I also had a week of the DC universe because I'm much more of a DC comics person. So I wanted to just jump in and see what was going on there. And I'll tell you what, I don't want to jump in on any of these ongoing series. It sounds crazy town. So, but the few that I have checked is actually some one-off series called White Knight, which is a alternate take on the Batman universe. What if Joker was cured and became a good guy?
Yeah.
And what if Batman not so great? At least in the beginning. And it's an interesting way tell how they're going to flip the story of the relationship of Batman and the Joker. I love the art. The art is done by Sean Murphy. I think he also writes it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. If you've not seen this book, it is beautiful from page to page. Wonderful references to the history of Batman throughout things. Wonderful things with characters that I'm excited to explore the world. Fuck yes, Mario. Yeah, Sean Murphy kills it.
Yeah.
It's an awesome book. I've read 2 issues out of the original first run of it. I'm excited to keep going and explore this new take on the relationship of Joker and Batman, where he's Jack Napier, which of course, if you've heard that name before, he's been used quite a few times in the comics, but also in the Batman '89 movie, which is the other book that I have been reading, because Batman, the Tim Burton film, got adapted. So there was an original plan. There was going to be a third movie that Tim Burton was going to do, but then Joel Schumacher sort of took over the world and they kind of recast everything except for a few characters. It still exists in the same Tim Burton universe, but they were going to do a totally different story. And so what they did was they kind of combined elements of that script and applied a lot of the more modern storytelling to it with the original cast and characters of the Tim Burton movies. So it's like takes place after Batman Returns. It's Halloween. It's a whole year later. And I love the first page because it's just an ode to Tim Burton. Every character on the screen is in a costume, and the costumes are from every Tim Burton movie. Like from Pee Wee Herman all the way up to even like Mars Attacks has a little reference in there, and it's really cool. I really love the detail and the what they decided to do with that story. The comics so far, I feel, is too much. Oh, a Nerd Day, of course, is saying that their version on race. Yeah, exactly. That's actually what I was just about to bring up, is that I feel like they tried to tell this old story, which takes place in '89, but they're using a lot of modern day, I would say, things that are going on in the world and putting it.
What's going on now? Yeah.
Going on now, putting in the book, specifically about gentrification of neighborhoods and people who leave a neighborhood that they grew up with, become really famous and into a big crowd, and then try to go back to it. And it's sort of that dichotomy. And I don't necessarily know if I think the book is doing a good job of telling that story. However, I'm willing to give it more of a chance. I've only read 2 issues. But what I loved about it is its continuation. Like I said, it's a continuation of the first 2 movies. So characters like Harvey Dent, who was a character in the first movie, played by Billy D. Williams, is going to get his Two-Face run in this story. And I'm very curious of how they handled that going forward. And the Robin in this story was originally cast to be Marlon Wayans, if in the original sequel that was going to be, and third one. So they're going in that route where it's a totally different Robin than the one that we got in the Batman Forever movie. So really interesting in how they're approaching it. I'm very curious because I love that movie and I love that universe. I'm very curious to how it's going to play out by the end of the series, and very, very much still reading it when the issues are available. There's a Superman comic that takes place after the first movie, or at least in the universe of the first movies. I haven't read it yet, but I'm very excited to start it. So yeah, that's my adventures in reading comics again, because the subscriptions are awesome, and I'm very excited to jump right back in.
Yeah, I was telling Mario the other day, like, I'm really excited he's reading White Knight. White Knight's one of my favorite Batman comics of like all time. Yeah. It was one of the first ones to ever hit DC's Black Label, other than the Bat Penis thing from Batman Damned.
Yeah. That was the thing.
But yeah, you know, if you don't remember, DC put out like a few Black Labels.
Oh, I remember that.
I remember got censored. I like that book. It's a little bit more than just Joker going sane. It's definitely it's more of like, let's say like Batman and Joker are fighting, and then Joker says, "You know what? I'm done with this game. I can do what you do better, which is saving Gotham." And his version of saving Gotham is becoming sane and doing a bunch of shit. You have to read the comic to figure out like what's going on, but it's a really good idea. Like, Sean Murphy is probably one of my favorite writers out there. He's insanely good. His art is amazing. The White Knight series is just really good. The second one is okay. I'm not really a big fan of the sequel to it, The Curse of the White Knight, I think it is. It does a lot. That's more harkening more on like the Batman myth or the Bruce Wayne parts of the mythos and everything like that. And I think there should be one more after that. And then it goes to Beyond the White Knight, which is more Batman Beyond. It has its own like big saga now. It was originally only like a one-shot like series run, and it seems like there has its own little separate universe now. So really good book, really good art, really good the way that he writes the characters are absolutely insane. Anybody who's a Batman fan out there should just go check it out. Just go buy it. It's you won't go wrong buying it.
Yeah, so I'm excited to read up more of it. I believe I have the subscription until the end of Sunday, so I'll definitely see how much I can fit in that time if I want to keep going. So yeah, very excited about reading comics again. I am continuing on with Halo. Halo is my second show that I watch weekly, next to MoonKnight, and I am now on episode 4, which is now because they're releasing weekly on that show. And I'm still enjoying it in a lot of ways, actually. I'm just kind of excited to revisit Halo in a way that I love, which is movies, live action, right? Mm-hmm. There are books, there are comics, there are other mediums in which you can experience Halo other than the video game, but I'm just happy that I have something in the medium that I enjoy the most. So to have that, I think is really cool. And it's telling a different story, but similar, right? It's sort of like trying to tell their version, which I believe is this is my belief. This is not setting up in the show, but I believe they're setting up the start of Fall of Reach, but in their way. And I'm very excited to see how it leads into potentially the first game. But I love right now the aspects of the show are the Master Chief's relationship with Halsey and how they keep continuing to develop that and being, I believe...
Every time you say Halsey, I just think of the singer.
I think that as well.
Yeah, Halsey's in this.
Halsey's in this. I just got introduced to the TV show's version of Cortana, and I want to say right off the bat, I think the internet kind of overblown the quick image that they did see of her. I think people really thought that was a real person dressed up in that, but it is a CGI creation, but has the voice of the original Cortana. And I think overall the presentation of that character is really cool. They don't do like he's holding her in her hand kind of deal. They do more modern things of like she's in the room scale with them if they do show her. But otherwise, I think that the developing early stages of that relationship is fun. I'm very curious to see how that develops. The character of Master Chief is interesting because he's not a cipher anymore. He's not you playing a game. He is trying to develop his own personality. Pretty much right off the bat, they establish it that he breaks from his programming almost immediately, and they're going to tell that type of story. And so I'm interested to see how they go about that and his relationship with Halsey. Is it something that he cherishes quite a bit, and how that's going to get challenged right away because he's going to start coming to the ramification of that Halsey's not all there a good person. And they definitely do a great job of teasing that out throughout the show so far. And I think that that's actually what I'm very excited about. The aspects of the show that I do not like, and it's not, I know people are like, oh, the helmet and him being naked. I'm like, no, that's not it. I mean,
Master Cheeks.
They actually have story reasons why he shows his butt cheeks.
Wow, they had to put lore in for butt cheeks.
Well, he's taking a shower.
He's taking a shower.
No.
He
So
cares.
he takes out an inhibitor chip, and he's naked during it. Obviously,
Did we have to see the cheeks though?
Just the way they. To be honest with you, I'll say this: there seems to be a definitely reliance on cheeks because he's not the only cheeks that I've seen in the show so far. I've seen like 4 other people's cheeks. I don't know if they have like a butt budget. There's a lot of butts, honestly.
There's a lot of firsts for the Halo series. We finally get to see John's face, and we finally get to see what he's hiding under that suit.
Yeah, you can see his butt. You see 2 lady butts and another dude's butt later. I don't know. It's a lot of butts so far.
How many episodes are this season?
I think it's supposed to be 8. I think it's 8 for the first season. But they're setting up this artifact thing that I believe is going to lead to the Covenant coming in full force. That's what I think is going to happen. They are setting this other human character. I'm not so sure how I feel about that person either. I'll say this. The aspects that I don't love is they originally, when the first episode started, there was going to be a whole like this Mandalorian like Master Chief and this other character. And they immediately split that character off into her own story that we have to cut into.
Oh, they do that shit? Come on, man.
I don't necessarily understand why. I'm sure the show is going to, at the end of the season, it's going to be a reason why they all have to come back together. But right now, I just care about what you're doing with Master Chief because I'm enjoying you exploring this character and opening him up in a way that I've never seen before. And that's the parts that I love. Obviously, I love the fact that you guys have fucking the music, the sound, and the look of the games. But I also love that you're trying to tell something new. But then you're putting this other character and just telling that story, and I'm not sure why it's connecting in any way. It's just distracting from what I rather watch. Or as Frank has seen, there's a TikTok of Master Chief putting his helmet on, getting into a car, and then taking it off the moment he gets out of it.
Yeah, it's funny.
Did you see that, Harv?
It's
he
funny.
just puts it on, and then he drives
like
a little
yeah.
bit, and then
the guy that's recording it, like he puts the helmet on. The guy that's recording is like, "Fuck yeah, let's go!" And then once he like stops the car, he gets out, he takes the helmet. I was like, "Come on, man!"
Yeah, so
this is made for the show. That I'm just like,
no,
why?
Let me explain that. So they cut to something else in the show, and then they go back, and it's like later.
It's just how it's cut for sure. It's
definitely goofy, but
it's funny because he puts it on, and then he gets out of the car and he takes it off. I think it's really funny.
Yeah. It's so this show to me, I feel like isn't for Halo people. It's for people that want a good sci-fi show. I think this is what this show is.
But I agree. This is for the Halo people, like who are willing just to like kind of just say, "Fuck it, I don't care about the books, I don't care about the lore, I don't give a shit about any of that. Let me just get something brand new," which is fine. There's people out there who like that, but there's people out there like me who have spent time reading the books, spent time reading the comics, and love this lore, and would really like to see that in live action. And we're always hoping that these movies, the TV shows would be that. And then comes along this show and goes, "Oh, hey, finally, we have a little crumb of something that could be really cool. And we finally get to see the lore that we've read on paper finally be put on the screen." And then they just say, "Yeah, no, we didn't didn't give a shit about the lore.
I think it also
okay, cool.
I think it also comes to the point where like I don't think many people are watching it like that I see on mine. I think it's like it's kind of came and went.
Yeah.
And people that are watching it now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the show is at this point.
You know what my biggest problem with it is? It's not even the fact that they don't use the lore. It's not the fact that Master Chief takes off his helmet. It's the fact that like right now, they're doing absolutely fucking nothing with it with Infinite. It absolutely baffles me that there's a TV show out.
They did announce that they are going to do it for season 2, not for season 1.
Who the fuck cares about season 2 at this point? Just like you have a game out that people are leaving by the thousands at this point that is becoming stagnant, and there's a TV show that could possibly revitalize that. And you're telling me nobody in the boardroom said, "Yeah, let's do some cross promotion, maybe a fucking armor skin or something." No, there's absolutely zero, zilch, nada. There's no reason for
we're getting two maps, man. We're getting 2 maps.
Oh, finally, yeah. No, we're getting you get absolutely nothing, and it's like somebody who plays who's playing the game is like, okay, I'm gonna go watch the show, or somebody's going to go watch the show and go play the game. There's really nothing for them in either fucking medium. So what's the point? You know what I mean? That's what pisses me off. It's just like there's really no like. It seems like there's really no plan for each of these things. So it's just
no synergy.
There's no synergy, exactly.
Sorry, Mario. I kind of hijacked the conversation there for a second.
No, that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, I mean, overall, like I said, I'm having a good time with it. It is different. But at the same time, I am enjoying the stuff that is Halo, and the stuff that's new about Halo. But other than that, there are some things where I'm like, we don't need that. I don't think we need that story. But
yeah,
we'll see how it continues on. Like I said, if I'm correct and it ends up leading to what I believe, because they keep showing this one planet, and I'm very curious of how that's going to work out. So
I'm wondering that. So I have a question for you. All right.
Yeah.
Do you think that the amount of, because going back to earlier where we're like fans complaining about shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the amount of like memed on shit that show is getting right now is going to drive them to maybe change course for the second season?
I think the things they're memeing on are dumb, though. To be honest, they're not like about
funny, though.
They're not about story. They're just about you see his butt. Nah.
You see his butt. No,
the thing is, like, I don't even see the memes anymore because I don't feel like enough people are even talking about the show anymore.
A lot of people have just given up on the show. Let's be real here. That's the other thing.
That's what I mean. I think people are watching
the first episode and we're just like, yeah, this isn't for us.
I think people are watching it and they're gonna watch the show. They're gonna end it, and then we're gonna get to season 2, and those same people are gonna watch it, and then
yeah, they've already got their audience, and I don't think they're gonna convince anybody who was already written off the show to come back. But I hope that what I'm hoping is at least with the second season, they at least say, you know, maybe we didn't do this as well as we thought we would. Let's go ahead and make some changes.
I think with whenever that is ever brought up, it's always like, I don't understand why people feel that way within the first 4, but I get it. I guess people just don't want to watch things. That's fine. But other than that, yeah, Halo. That's how I feel at that point. Yeah, to be honest, I'm fucking exhausted from laughing earlier, so that's why I feel this way. But yeah, that is
Halo's a show.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about the one piece of news that nobody cares about, and that is Kingdom Hearts 4 got announced this week.
That is let's do that. Moving over to patch notes. Hey, Frank, take it away.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 4 got announced. Nobody gives a shit. All right, end of the show. Good job, everybody.
Wow, we did it. We did such a great job, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. It is.
You see his feet.
You see his feet. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got normal feet.
Sora has started an OnlyFans.
Yeah. He has Converse now. That's interesting.
Yeah. It's obviously I think he's gonna go back to big feet again, probably because it's just in that world. But
yeah.
I love how the internet just was just harping on the feet thing. I was just like, Jesus Christ, guys, you guys are down bad.
Everyone's looking at Master Chief's butt, and people are looking at people's feet. Everyone's weird. Girl.
Wait, wait 1 second here.
Traveling pants.
Oh my god, I can't.
All right, we have some actual news to talk to.
Do we want to talk about we're already 2 hours in. I'll be honest with you, this news is kind of mid anyway.
Go fast. All right.
Kingdom Hearts 4 came out.
Wait, Fee wanted to say something. What was it?
No, I added it at the end of the actual.
Yeah, we can watch that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't even link it. I don't know why it posted that. What is that linking to?
I don't want to
So
know.
Nothing.
Kotaku's Ethan Gach put out that CDPR is working as a vast part of fixing Cyberpunk 2077 is done, focusing on other projects. So they basically fixed Cyberpunk 2077. I can corroborate that. Honestly,
I thought they were going to DLC for it.
That's what the next thing. That's the next thing.
So
Okay.
Their big plan was, hey, we're gonna fix what's broken in the game first, and then we're gonna start working on DLC. I've been playing Cyberpunk for the last 2 weeks, and I can tell you that the game is basically fixed.
Yeah,
the game is basically how it should have been launched from day one.
When the
It
remasters
only
came
took
out,
how long?
it took about 2 years.
Yeah. It took about a year and a half. Not even a whole year actually. When did that game come out?
Was it 2 years ago?
It's not. It's already been,
No,
it's been 2
2019
years.
ago.
Has it?
Yeah, it's been almost
It already has.
because I got it in Indianapolis at the last game show.
It came out on November, the tail end of one of the years. It might have been 2019.
I think
It might
it's
have been-
December 10th, 2020.
So almost 2
It's been
years.
about 2 years.
Yeah,
It's
so
been
2 years.
about 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Year and a half.
So yeah, no, the big rumor mill that seems to be coming out of both Reddit and every other media is that they're working on multiple games. So they've already announced that they're working on Witcher right now. They're working on a next gen version of Witcher 3. I don't know why. People are coming out a lot today saying that Witcher 3 was kind of mid, and I'm fucking glad that I'm not the only one who's been saying that, because Witcher 3 is kind of mid.
The story is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Combat is not great.
Not great.
Yeah.
And
Not
that's the
great
main
combat.
reason why I play games like that is for the combat.
Yeah.
So it's not the good story of Witcher is not enough to keep me in there for that. Not saying Witcher 1 and 2 combat was all good, but at least kept me engaged. But yeah, they put out a roadmap. The Witcher 3 remastered or a next gen version was announced, that, and they have another Gwent game coming out, and I believe
A single player version of it too.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yep. And then in the rumor mill right now, they have an unannounced project that they are working on. They haven't said much of anything else of that, but if you've been following one of my favorite series of all time, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, you would know that the studio that was working on Bloodlines 2 was a bunch of hack frauds and tried to change too much, and nobody liked it, so they got fired. So
Serves them right.
so the rumor mill for everybody seems to be that CD Projekt Red is secretly working on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, because they've always talked about how they wanted to work on it. With Vampire and Cyberpunk both being based on tabletop games, it's something that's up their alley that they seem to want to do, and they have said previously that they want to do. So I hope they are, because even if Vampire the Masquerade comes out glitchy as shit, which if you ever played Bloodlines 1, you're probably okay with. I just want a really good story.
All their games have been like this. Even Witcher 3 when it came out was not great.
Witcher 2 is not a game that you can easily get through without a glitch either.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they are working on it. I would like to see CD Projekt Red do a story like that. I think they can do that mature kind of that type of mature story without making dumb compromises to appease everybody, to make everybody happy on it.
I haven't lost any respect. I lost a little bit of their goodwill, but for the game that they made for Cyberpunk, I really didn't have that many issues when I played Cyberpunk. So because I played it on PC. Well,
Yeah.
that's probably why.
right.
We both played it on
mostly
PC. We both had really good hardware. That's the other problem.
Yeah.
Thing too.
Yeah.
Oh, I had decent. I was still playing on my 1060.
Oh yeah,
And I was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. It ran fine. Obviously there was issues with the cops and all that kind of shit, but other than that, I think the game ran perfectly fine.
When is there not issues with the cops? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Fucking ACAB, am I right?
Fucking ACAB. What? But so what's going
go
on
ahead.
with? No, good. That was good.
All right, and then so that's on the CG Project Red side. Sorry, we're moving so quick. If anybody has anything to say, just stop me. This next article comes from Shannon Bond at NPR. Twitter CEO addresses employees worried about Elon Musk's hostile takeover bid. If you've been following Twitter this week for some reason, you would notice that Elon had taken 10% stake of Twitter. He bought out 10% stake of Twitter, which makes him a majority shareholder. They had said, "Hey, you want to become a real shareholder? You gotta do a background check." And he's like, "Nah, fuck that shit." But after
It wasn't that. It was that you can if you become a board member, you can only own 14.9%. That's the max
okay.
you can own as a board member.
That makes a lot more sense than the background, because everybody internet always has likes to say dumb shit like that. Like, oh, he's got to do a background check. He's hiding something. I'm just like, I don't care, dude.
No, it's because he can't own. Like, if he becomes part of the board, he can't own the company. He owns the company with other people, but the max he can own for stocks is 14.9. If he's not on the board, he can take the entire company over. He's trying to take it over for $43 million right now.
Yes.
It is evaluated at $32 billion. He wants to take it for $43 billion, and I don't know if he'll actually do it, because I think what he wants to do is try to do something with it and then sell it and then just make a profit off of it.
Like do a PayPal.
Yeah, do something like that. Just make a bunch of money off it, because this kind of opens the door for like Facebook to to buy these companies now at this point, right? Because if Elon can do it, then all these other companies can do it now as well.
100%. And go ahead.
My only note on this is fuck Elon Musk. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of people with wealth only doing things in order to accrue more wealth. This seems like his only goal is to get more money, and that's dumb reason to buy things. Fuck you, Elon Musk.
He's the richest man in the world.
I mean, let's be real here, though. Twitter hasn't made a profit ever, so him buying it for profit's not the thing. Well, they've definitely tried.
Twitter is a private company, though.
Yeah.
Right. Like all these things are private companies. So they got to try to make profit where they can make profit.
Yeah. Twitter makes money, but it's never turned a profit. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't think he's in it for turning the profit. I think it's because he just wants to say dumb shit on the internet and not get.
But like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all these kind of companies, they got to try to make a profit because they are private companies. They're not owned by the government or anything. Mm-hmm. They got to try to make money as much as they possibly can.
Yeah. On that note, unless anybody else has to say anything about Elon Musk's feed, you got anything to say about Elon Musk? No? All right, cool. Next article comes from Taylor Lies IGN. Actually, we're not going to talk about this one because I already basically talked about it earlier.
That was off.
You know what?
That was off.
I want to take 1 second about the Elon Musk thing. Fuck Amber Heard. Now continue.
Yeah, actually, you know what? That's 100% true. Yeah, fuck Amber Heard. Is she still on Aquaman 2, or did she get like?
She sure is.
Still is.
Why the fuck? Okay, so here's
the whole Johnny Depp thing, right?
Small little left field rant here. How the fuck are people like Amber Heard and Ezra Miller still attached to these dumb fucking movies when Ezra has already been multiple times proven to be, 1, a person who hits women, and 2, person who hits his fans, 3, fucking psychotic.
Which, by the way, he's in the movie that Johnny Depp got fucking kicked out of.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you have Amber Heard here, who fucking cried wolf, absolutely destroyed a man's career, and is just walking away scot-free, and nobody says shit about it because I guess we don't have to. Like, people just forgot. Like, what is going on?
People know that this has happened, and apparently, some of the people that were working on Aquaman 2 wanted to remove her because apparently she has no chemistry with Jason Momoa and is not, like, they essentially said they wanted to get rid of her, but apparently some like WB execs were like, you have to keep her in the movie.
No.
They're like, you have to keep her in, and they're like, but we want to get rid of her, and they're like, you have to continue with her, which is absolutely bonkers because they fucking like, there's literally audio of her specifically talking about the fact that she physically abused the man, and apparently they can remove Johnny Depp when it's a, like, there's literally at that point there was no recordings or anything. It was just he did a bunch of really shitty things to me, and so everyone was just like, whoa, we don't want to work with
They
you
canceled
anymore.
the shit out of Johnny Depp real quick. You noticed that, right? But
Correct.
Amber Heard gets fucking proven to be a hack fraud, and all of a sudden she's getting all the roles in the world. It's like, what the fuck is this?
Correct. But also, like, congrats Dior for keeping Johnny Depp on the payroll and being fantastic and being super awesome. Good job for Dior. Fucking Dior. Good job. And now she's also pissed off about that one. So yeah.
Of course.
Also, on that, fuck WB. We're coming out against everybody.
Fuck WB. WB, you got a lot of fucking assholes over there. Other than James Gunn, he did really great on those two.
Fire Ezra Miller already, because it makes no sense that he's even on anything. Fire Amber Heard, and then we're all good.
Yeah. Fuck Joss Whedon.
Otherwise, I'll be real with you. Otherwise, I'll be real with you. Probably not going to go see Aquaman 2 if Amber Heard's in it. Like, actually, in it.
People are boycotting the movie.
Yeah,
Like, I'll be real with you. I don't think I'm going to see that movie in theaters. I mean, I 100%
I'm going to see Flashpoint, and I'm very fucking interested in Flashpoint. That's how fucking I'm fed up over this shit.
I'm surprised people actually went and watched the first Aquaman. I'm very surprised.
I'm into Jason Momoa. I'm into Jason Momoa.
Was a good dude.
Dude, he's great in
No,
Dune.
I don't deny that. Yeah, he's great in Dune. I don't deny that. Aquaman though, just Aquaman in general.
Right. My man. Anyway,
my man.
Anyway,
but thank you for bringing that up, Fee. Next article comes from GamesIndustry.biz's Marie de la Century. Epic raises $2 billion from both Sony and Lego investors. So this happened earlier this week, or maybe early last week. I can't remember. But Sony and Lego have put a stake into investing in Epic Games. What this means for the future Epic Games, who knows? I know Lego is probably going to do something Fortnite related, probably, and Sony is probably going to want some exclusive skins for the PlayStation or some bullshit like that. Who knows?
That's confusing as hell.
I think they just want it just because they're just going to make money off of this. I think it's money.
Okay, that might just be it because WB owns the Warner Brothers license, if I'm not mistaken, with Traveler Tales. So that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's just money because Epic is making so much money with Unreal 5 that they're going to be doing with like other games and stuff like that. Apparently Bandcamp as well.
Yes.
That's where a lot of their money comes from, apparently.
Cool.
But I think it's just like I think they just want a part of the company just to make money. I think they're just making money.
Cool. And our last one.
Yep. And our last one here. Oh, before this is not the second to last one actually.
I don't think we should watch that with the episode. I think we should watch it afterwards because there's a song in the trailer that I think will.
We don't want to get DMC at these nuts. Franz Christian Iorta from Clutch Points writes, Max Payne 1 and 2 remakes announced. This is basically just news for me. I absolutely love the first two Max Payne games. They're some of the games that I've replayed like thousands of times at this point. They're fun. They're unique games. Fee, I think you would actually like this game because it is a noir story. At least the first one is a noir story. It's basically a guy named Max Payne. I don't know if you ever heard the story of Max Payne, but it's a guy named Max Payne who is an NYPD cop who comes home one day and his wife and child are murdered,
of course,
by people who are high off a drug called Valkyrie, Valkyrie or something like that. They say it very weirdly in the thing. But he then goes on a undercover beat to try to figure out who is manufacturing this drug, and it kind of spirals into a giant conspiracy.
Yeah, fuck ACAB.
Yeah,
I feel like I've read a timeless fanfic with this same exact plot.
Yeah. And then the second game, I think you would love even more because not only is it obviously a conspiracy thing again, but it is on the box quoted as a film noir love story. So they do the noir thing, but they also weave in a actual pretty decently written love story in this, and it works out really well. And it is a fun game. It's the game that brought the bullet time idea to the forefront. I think there's games that I think had it beforehand, but this is the first game to actually like take the technology further and actually make it to the bullet time that we know today. Nice. Amazingly written, the cutscenes are all in like a graphic novel format. I can't remember the voice actor, but he was in Save Me, something like that, or the Fireman Show.
Yeah, there's also in other games done by Sam Lake and Remedy.
Yeah,
really cool.
Yeah, some of my favorite games out there, and I'm glad to see them being remade. It seems like they made a deal with Rockstar because Rockstar now owns the rights to this game. They didn't originally own the rights to the first one, I think, and then they started owning it from the second one on. So Rockstar gave them permission, said, "Hey, yeah, go ahead and remake the games because we're not doing shit with Max Payne, so might as well
go for it."
And if it looks anything like how the Alan Wake trailer looked for Alan Wake 2, I'm fucking excited because Alan Wake looked fucking sick in that trailer. Yeah,
that is
sounds very exciting.
And that was all the news. Thank you so much, Frank, for breaking that as fast as you could. for this seemingly long episode. I guess we've been going for a while. This, according to my life, it's 2 hours and 25 minutes. But I want to thank everyone here for spending time in the chat. Thank you so much. I want to thank my entire panel here. I love you all. I miss you so much. We shall be doing this yet again next week, which I'm very excited about. But before that, Fee, where can people find you, and what have you been up to?
People can find me over at the Game Source Network, where we talked about Stadia this week, which was a lot of fun. And you can also find me over at twitch.tv/Soranix, where I'm playing Chinatown Detective Agency. I'm probably doing some art in the future, and then also playing more kind of like detective games, because it's definitely right up my alley and vibe. So definitely make sure to check me out over there. Also check me out on Twitter, twitter.com/Soranix, where I post essentially reactions to Mario and wondering how I deal with him on a regular basis.
It's true. This is true.
True.
Fantastic. Frank, where can people find you on the net?
You find me at Twitter at the Frank GV, where I just post shit about video games and talk shit about TV shows.
Yeah, don't change your Twitter handle. That's a good one. I like the way you broke that down. That's really
it's only like your fifth Twitter handle in the past year.
Yeah.
You never get it right the
works,
first time.
so.
Never get it right the first time. Harv, where can people find you on the net?
You can find me at Beard in the Hair. My Elden Ring review essay is going to be out this week. I'm very, very excited about it. Yeah, it should be out mid this week. But other than that, yeah, you can find me at Beard in the Hair. You can find me here on Point in Progress.
Fantastic. And then, am I correctly? You're doing exercising? Is that what the everyday thing is? Is that what
That's
that is?
my day? Yeah. So I'm about to hit 3 weeks of exercising. I am down about 6 pounds now from all of that. It's been something that I've been wanting to do for a while, because procrastination is what Fee said. Procrastination is a big thing, and I have one of my friends, Hapro, who is on my streams usually or sometimes. He's told me, he's like, if you're not out of the house by 6 o'clock, I'm gonna SkyTrain over to your house and drag you out of the house to go do it.
That's cool.
I was like, all right, okay, well, that's how we're gonna do this. So so it's just been me working out and eating a little bit better. Not fully better, but like eating a lot. Like we're it's a process. It's a process.
It's a terrible choice in Subway sandwiches, but continue on.
What did you get for Subway?
I'll ask that at the post show. That's an interesting thing. I want to know. I do want to know about that for sure.
Yeah, she gave me shit for that, but yeah. So the reason why I'm doing it is because of like self things. Like I'm putting it out there because I want to put it out there. Of course. That like, all right, day 20, day 19.
Keeping yourself accountable.
Yeah, exactly. And then when other people see it, maybe that'll give them some sort of like, maybe. But like it's mostly just for me. So if other people take it and run with it, that's fine. But like it's mostly just for me.
Totally.
It's fair.
And Sly, where can people find you on the net?
You can find me on my personal accounts everywhere at SlyClinMC. You can find me yelling about 911 and 911 Lone Star on TikTok Lives every Thursday night. And you can find me yelling about the latest Marvel project and all the other things we're talking about that week in media on we'll throw the after party at afterpartysho on all the socials. And you can find Mario and I talking about whether characters are tops or bottoms on MC University bi-monthly. Every 2 weeks.
All
you know
the
what we
characters
mean.
are bi, but it's bi-monthly. Just so you know. Yes, I adore doing that show, of course, over there. MC University. Our next episode is Ghostwriter. I believe we'll be having a guest on that one, so definitely stay tuned. With that, you can also find me over here at The Point in Progress, always, where we do fun things all the time on this channel, including we also have Tremors in Review, which is wrapping up with its third and final joke episode. We're actually going to do it live starting tomorrow. If you're watching this now, it's tomorrow. We're going to be on this channel, and we're going to just do the episode live. We're going to have a guest, someone who's very close to the Tremors lore that I'm very excited about. And this has been a fun 3-episode joke that I did that a lot of people watched and responded really nicely about. So again, thank you everyone that allowed me to have fun with my love of Tremors. So very fun, very fun. And with that, I think we're pretty much all ready to pack it on up. But again, thank you to everyone listening, everybody watching, everybody in the chat. Thank you. And I believe progress has been made. Shout out
I
to
forgot what show we were doing, and I thought there was going to be a class dismissed, and that threw me a little bit.
Shout out to Emma Watson, it's her birthday.